because like my pick, Kyle Busch, he was like there.
Yes,
and but Daytona is so volatile, and you just never know. It's survival of the fittest.
Did you watch any of it, Preston? Did you get involved, especially at the very end?
I got clued in when they started talking about overtime, and I didn't know that racing had overtime. So I was like, oh, man. And then I heard my guy in overtime. I'm like, man, I might win this thing. So I caught the very end.
I have never been more upset with a non-financial event that I'm tied into than Sunday afternoon. I can't. Reggie, the only explanation I'm starting to have for this is that Reggie has pulled the Back to the Future and has the almanac.
Right. And he's been watching these episodes of The Simpsons.
I can't believe it. Reggie Anderson is off to a start. For the longest time, it looked like I wasn't going to win, but I was going to be the top point getter in the contest. And Denny Hamlin hung right in there between about 5 and about 14. And it looked like at the very end, maybe, just maybe, I would sneak one out because I think he was 7th, 6th. He had avoided that big crash at the very end. And I thought maybe I would sneak one out. But nope, Reggie Anderson wins. So that's another bad start.
Yeah, and Kyle was sitting there basically third. And I don't know if he got tipped or something like right at the end. So I thought, well, at least I'll have a decent finishing. Shoot, he ended up being 19. I was last, when you run at the beginning. So that's Daytona.
Unbelievable.
Great start. We're off to a great start, team.
You'll come to dislike Reggie Anderson with the rest of us as this continues.
I'm just going to pick my drivers week by week. We're going to do this one game at a time. One race at a time.
There you go.
Okay, that's loud.
All right, 803-404-6100. That's how you can weigh in if you want to do so this morning. Firehouse Subs text line, Love Chevy phone line. I finally got the live stream up and going. You can go and join us there. Again, lots of topics. If you want to get into baseball, that's no problem. South Carolina, very good over the weekend, outscoring UMass Lowell 49-5. South Carolina basketball picks up a victory. The women's team, it was a struggle. They went into overtime, but they find a way to get a victory. The soccer team in Tony Annan has a draw against a professional team in the Charleston Battery. Women's softball had a very nice weekend. So South Carolina sports.
A lot to get to.
All the way around. South Carolina sports, a very, very nice weekend. We'll try and discuss all that with you this morning. The question again, do you need a break from football? We'll get into that with a little bit of the XFL and anything else Preston Thorne wants to get fired up about. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, she's Jen Jensen. It is the early game on 107.5 The Game.
107.5 The Game on demand podcast menu.
Sponsored by Lexington Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
If you're dealing with injuries or pain, our team is here to get you better sooner.
On the home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute. Sponsored by Tax Slayer. Start filing for free today at taxslayer.com. The buzz at Riviera last weekend centered around Tiger Woods. No surprise there. But the real star was newly minted world number 1, Jon Rahm. Red Hot Rahm's two-stroke victory marked his 3rd win of the young season and the 5th in his last 9 competitive outings. I'm Boomer Esiason.
CBS Sports Radio.
Getting your guaranteed maximum refund with TaxSlayer feels like discovering a refund tree has grown in your backyard.
I'm the refund tree.
Sawing off its branches.
Hey.
Feeding them through a wood chipper.
My branches! My beautiful branches!
And dancing in its refund rain. Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
This report is sponsored by FN America Careers.
Are you ready to join a high-caliber team? FN America is always looking for the best talent to design and build the most innovative firearms. We make world-class products to defend our nation in a friendly, rewarding, and engaging workplace. Explore your next career at fnamerica.com/careers.
Plus tax and title with approved credit. Call 888-411-7640 for details. Do you want a truck?
JT's got them at JT's Dodgeland. South Carolina's truck giant is loaded with Rams. New 2022 Bighorn Ram up to $11,000 off. Drive for just $349 a month. New Chargers and Challengers save $5,000 below MSRP. Credit concerns? Other dealers don't have the power of South Carolina's truck giant. JT is the man who says yes. Dodgeland on Greystone, jtsdodge.com. President's Day sales event.
Spectrum Business is the no-nonsense way to stay connected with fast, reliable internet service and Spectrum Business Connect, the all-in-one app to make calls, host video conferences, and send texts. Connect to customers from any device, anywhere. Get both and get one mobile line free for 1 year. No contracts, no hidden fees, no nonsense. Just business. Visit spectrum.com/business today. Restrictions apply. Services not available in all areas.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring sergeants and lieutenants statewide. If you have correctional, security, military, or police experience, you can join SCDC as a sergeant or lieutenant. There's $7,500 sign-on bonuses, increased pay, and great employee benefits available. Start your new year off with a new career. Visit joinscdc.com to apply today or call 803-734-JOBS for more information. Don't miss the Champion Defense Sweet Deal. Just log on to 1075thegame.com at 9 a.m. on Friday to get an annual family plan valued at $400 half off for just $200. Includes family household, 2 gate access cards, and 2 guests per visit. Only a limited quantity available.
Tired of paying over MSRP for new vehicles? Then come to Herndon Chevrolet and smile with a great selection of new Chevrolets on the ground at invoice pricing. We have new Chevrolets starting at only $23,998. Visit your hometown Chevy dealer today or find new roads online at herndonchevy.com.
Herndon makes you wanna smile. Smile.
Call 864-262-6760 for complete details.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick, the type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera, and the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
We keep the clutter out of your gutter. Call on the gutter man.
The Guttermen have been providing top-notch service throughout the Midlands for over 47 years, building their business on relationships, not gimmicks. And you can call them locally, not a 1-800 number. Call them today at 791-7147 and look for the guys in the powder blue trucks.
We keep the clutter out of your gutter. Call on the gutter man.
I-26 eastbound. There at exit 85, we do have a slowdown there. The right lane currently blocked due to an accident. And in downtown Columbia, right outside our windows, Sumter Gervais Street, there is an injury crash, so it's definitely impacting traffic both directions, but especially if you were heading like towards West Columbia. It's heading in those lanes that are impacted right now. Overturned vehicles, so it's going to take a little bit to get that cleaned up. Weather-wise, a chance for a stray shower, 78 for the high, partly cloudy tomorrow, 81, 84 for Thursday. Right now, it's 60 at 107.5 The Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
The early game
With Bill Gunter, Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen
on your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
Just a reminder, we don't, if a game is taking place, we're not here. So like South Carolina baseball, right? Okay. we're not here. We're not in the studio. I mean, we can check the text line if we're that bored or if we have that little to do. But if you text us during a South Carolina baseball game, Preston and I are definitely not getting it.
Mm-hmm.
And Derek Scott and Tommy Moody, who are calling the game, and Stuart Lake are not getting the text message. So there's no need to text in during the game. Save your texts for when all of us are in studio. Preston, myself, Jen, Tyler, and then the Gamecock Central crowd, Jay and Terry, Heath. Like, then we get our text. So I read this text. I'm going back through the text line, and I'm just looking. And this is from Friday at 4:47. All right. First pitch was 4 o'clock, right? And the game, South Carolina and UMass Lowell, got off to a little bit of a slow start. It was 2-2 in like the third inning, second or third inning. I forget exactly when South Carolina technically really broke away in that game. And the bats all of a sudden took off. And the next thing you knew, UMass Lowell was just getting their brains beaten in at every turn. But I go back and I'm just scrolling the text line. And at 4:47 on Friday, Derek texted in. Again, nobody read it until I just read it just now because I'm the first one this morning to pop up the Firehouse Subs text line. He says, "You cannot be serious. We are tied with this team. This coach has to go." I am assuming by the end of Sunday, that was not his. I'm not assuming by the end of Friday, that was not his feelings. It was more of maybe like, all right, I'm willing to give more time. But about 3 innings in, Derek had seen enough. And then South Carolina's bats, Preston, just took off. And look, I can ask you this. This is a neat thing about having you here now, being a former All-State baseball player. Hitting contagious. That's kind of what they were talking about over the weekend is one guy starts hitting, another guy starts hitting. After you know it, the whole team is just seeing the ball on a different level. And 20 runs in the first game, 17 in the second, 12 in the third. Not bad.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, hitting is contagious, but also you're playing UMass Lowell.
Yes.
And there's called the talent gap.
Okay.
So it can be contagious, but it's more often contagious against teams who aren't very good.
Okay.
So we'll slow down on the contagious part and recognize our opponent. But it's all good.
Okay.
Shout out to, was that Derek?
Yeah.
That sent the text.
I'm guessing just looking at that must have been mid-third inning because it was 2-2.
Mid-third. That's a great time to make a prediction.
South Carolina would score 3 runs there in the bottom half of the third, go up 5-2.
The third inning of the
first game.
Yeah, that's when you make a decision.
Mid-third, first game of the season.
Shout out to you, Derek. You will be getting named by name in Preston's Thorns, Buds, and Roses later on this segment today.
Coming up later this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Thorns, Buds, and Roses from Preston Thorn, our weekly Preston who had an extra day to gather some
extra day to get some steam going.
Some weekend observations. We'll get to that. 803-404. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines. Gamecock Larry ready to weigh in this morning. Gamecock Larry, how you feeling, man? What's on your mind?
I'm feeling better than I've been, but I got to talk slow because I don't think right. I've been kind of down. But I want to say about that basketball game Saturday when Gigi and Michi and all broke away. And I think we play Alabama. Is it tonight?
Correct. Yeah, there is a basketball game
Alabama tonight.
Yes, that is correct.
I figure we'll get about 18 3-pointers, and we're gonna take Alabama down tonight. Put it down in your book. The Gamecocks will defeat Alabama tonight. Now about this game Sunday. Ugly win is better than a pretty loss any time. But the women had me nervous. I mean, they had old Gamecock laying there trying to watch TV, and he couldn't half see. But they had me worried. But they pulled it out. But I want to say something about that game. Boston did not foul that lady in the last 2 seconds. She did not foul her. That lady slipped, fell, and she got scared of Boston. And Boston, like the lady she is, turned around and walked off. And I seen a couple of elbows thrown by them Ole Miss players. I ain't talking about them, but I spent a couple of elbows there thrown by some old misplays that should have been called, but it wasn't called. Now oh yeah, you didn't mention the tennis team won this weekend. Tennis, there we had a good weekend. Now baseball, I listened to all the games, every inning, and I ain't gonna say nothing about them, but it looked like we got the pitching, looked like we got the hitting, looked like we got the fielding. One error, and it was committed in the last inning of the third game of the series. So we look okay. And but I'm not going to predict anything until we get a few more. We're going to be all right. But I want to thank all the Gamecock Nation for the calls and everything I've got. I really appreciate you all. I love y'all. And if I don't get to call in like I want to, I can't call in too much, so I won't call in unless I hear somebody saying something about the Gamecock sport, and I don't like it. And then if I don't like it, I'm gonna call in, and I might say something I ain't supposed to say, but I hope not.
By the way, Lynn weighs in. My days, Gamecock, my days are. Let me just stop you, just so you don't show up tonight at the Colonial Life Arena. The Alabama game is Wednesday night, which has now occurred to me is not tonight, Preston. You'll learn that when we take a day off, I lose it with what day it is. So thank you, Lynn, for weighing in. I now am aware it's Tuesday and not Wednesday. So the day off has tripped me up. So don't go to Colonial Life Arena tonight. That game is Wednesday night, tomorrow night at 9:00. Okay, he's gone. All right. Well, I didn't want to cut him off. But I did want him before, he might get fired up, show up at the arena tonight, and then that would give him a reason to call in tomorrow to not be happy with me because I got confused on what day it was.
Change up the schedule.
This is what happens when we take a day off. I get very, very confused on what day it is. I just know we're one day closer to the weekend, just not sure how many days are closer. 803-404-6100. All right. We got a lot to get to this morning. We got roses, buds, and thorns from Preston coming up at 8:00 this morning. We got Brian Edwards from Vegas Insider. He wants to we're going to maybe move him more to Tuesday so he can give the SEC basketball schedule on Tuesday and Wednesdays and give you games he likes. We'll get to that. JC Sherber due up. And we need your help because our Wheel of Agony now, we're going to redo it. We will do maybe 1 or 2 food challenges on there just because that does seem like a punishment for us. We're both kind of leery of that. But we need punishments from y'all this morning to help us fill out the Wheel of Agony. Let's see. Gene weighs in and says 1 bite of the world's hottest pepper.
And nope.
See, but that's a punishment. You're not supposed to want to do the punishments. That's where it kind of that's part of it. Jerry weighs in and says you have to work 1 hour on each show throughout the day.
Oh, tremendous.
I don't know if we're punishing us or other hosts.
Those who just get to bring chaos to all these other button outfits.
That's kind of where we were with, calling it like an intern for the day or something, being an intern for each of the going and getting drinks and, serving the other shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we've got that. So yeah, we need your help. Weigh in this morning on more punishments. Currently, Jen has fixed up intern for a day. That's actually a pretty good one. I could definitely get on board with that. Karaoke, a musical instrument, a free pass. Still not thrilled about Bill run the board because that really could end the show. I think the quality of the product would go down greatly, not because I'm away from the mic, but because I'm not sure I would get us on air at all. The live stream would get to choose. The winner would get to choose bar 3 with Jen. There is a free pass on there. And then loser's choice. The loser gets to pick one. 803-404-6100. If you've got, Will weighs in. Put chitlins on the board. Whew. So we'd also have to find someone to fix that.
Juanita Thorne is ready, willing, and able.
Okay, so we could put that. So we'll add it because when we come back, we'll get into more baseball, basketball talk. But I have the results of our first Wheel of Agony, the XFL this weekend. We picked 3 games.
DC Defenders, let's go.
One of us went 2-1.
The best part about this is I genuinely don't know who.
Yeah,
it
I
is.
didn't know either until about 5 minutes ago. One of us went 2-1. I'll tell you who when we
Vegas
come.
Vipers, let's go.
We'll tell you when we come back who is spinning the wheel of agony towards the end of the show for the first time here, as it's Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, and Jen Jensen. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Got a take?
Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line.
Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen.
803-404-6100.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
An ode to the mountains, oceans, rivers, and adventurers of the Southeast, Peak Drift Brewing Company has launched its award-winning craft beers and hard seltzers to bars, stores, and restaurants across the Midlands. Try our Golden Ale, New England IPA, Red IPA, Berry Crumble Sour, or Fire Pit Ale, all crafted using cutting-edge technology that promotes sustainability and industry collaboration. Find your Peak Drift moment at peakdriftbrewing.com.
Bajan Outdoor Living is the Midland source for concrete coatings, especially their garage floor coatings. They can get rid of your old, ugly, bare, stained, or cracked garage floor and give you a showroom-ready space with their flake floor system, backed by a lifetime warranty. You heard it. Your garage floor finish comes with a lifetime warranty. Do it right the first time with Bajan Outdoor Living. Go online to BajanOutdoorLiving.com. That's BAJAN and get a free estimate.
The 88th running of the Carolina Cup races, presented by Mullican Law, is Saturday, April 1st in classically Camden, South Carolina, where spring begins. Make your plans to attend this fantastic fun event with the entire family. Gates open at 9 a.m. and the fun begins, where fashion is on parade and thoroughbreds jump the fences racing to victory. Get your tickets now and plan to party and tailgate with family and friends all day. Just check out carolinacup.org for tickets and details.
Hey, why not try something extreme and exciting this year, like Extreme Pogo? Woohoo! Going for the backflip! Or maybe something really adventuresome, like wingsuit flying. Tree! Or maybe just try eating extremely good pizza from the Mellow Mushroom Pizza Bakers. Hand-tossed, spring water dough, fresh ingredients, all baked on the stove.
All right, we're coming up with punishments. Yeah, the other really good one we did was when the Capitals lost to the Hurricanes. Did you ever watch Game of Thrones?
No.
Did you ever see the episode where they make the queen walk through town naked? Okay. And somebody walks behind her ringing the bell yelling, "Shame!" Well, we walked, because of that, we walked around town with me with a bell because the Capitals had lost, yelling, "Shame!" That was a pretty good one. All right, so one we've added now. I've got 10 laps around the State House. I assume we might have to. That might have to be kind of a you get over there and you start walking and then you judge. We'll say minimum 5, but 10 laps around the. So we need 1, 2, 3. Okay, we only need 4. Brian Glenn likes to be involved. We did do the spicy pizza.
I can do that.
Spicy pizza.
Yep, let's do that.
All right.
That's fine.
The thing with
you ever see the clip where Shaq ate the Reaper chip or whatever on that, and he was like, "I promise you, there'll be no reaction from it." And he ate it. He's like,
yeah, Robin, who wants to get in on the workout stuff, says Wheel of Agony, speed and agility workout with me.
Oof.
See, Robin, that goes in for the live streamers. You would get to put that in for the live streamers. A workout with Robin first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
How you feel about penalty kicks from the 18
Oh,
box.
boy. Yeah, let's do it.
Penalty with Tony Annan's penalty kicks. They're not trying to score on you, but that's what I'm saying. If we back them up to the 18, you've got a chance to defend yourself, we'll say. Some of you are coming in with some nice with some solid here punishments for the wheel of agony. Keep those coming. 803-404-6100 on the Firehouse Subs text line. If you've got something for that, you can weigh in this morning on the Love Chevy phone lines. 803-404-6100 is how you can do that. If you want to weigh in, South Carolina basketball, both men's and women's go on the road and pick up victories over the weekend. South Carolina baseball, absolutely dominating performance this weekend as they drill UMass Lowell 49-5 combined score in all three games. What impressed me the most, Preston, I know the opponent, I get it. There were some losses by top 25 teams that maybe were a little head scratching and whatnot. But the bottom line, what stood out to me the most was the pitching this weekend. And you hope it stays healthy, because that's been a problem in the past, is that this pitching staff tends to get decimated with injuries, and that's not what you want to see. But the bottom line is this weekend, Will Sanders looked good. Noah Hall looked very good. Or Will Sanders looked okay, I should say. I don't want to give him, wasn't his best performance, but I feel confident that he'll bounce back. Noah Hall looked good. Jack Mahoney was fantastic on Sunday. And then you go into the bullpen. They looked very solid. Overall, again, I get it. The opponent outmatched. We'll find out more in the coming weeks. But that's what you want to have, is the pitching at midseason form already.
Yeah, but I don't want to. Yes, they were supposed to beat this team. They were supposed to be way better than this team. But I don't want to take that for granted, coming from where the program was last year, where they were dropping midweek games, losing to teams like UMass Lowell. So, yes, this is what's supposed to happen, but let's not take it for granted. It is important when the team that's better goes out and handles business the way they're supposed to.
So there was that. If you want to weigh in, 803-404-6100, how you can do that.
Absolutely. Yep.
I like that saying that Holtz had. What was it? What did you say? It's not our responsibility to make the game close.
No obligation.
No obligation. So good for them. Good for Mark Kingston. We'll continue to track it again today. 4:00 over at Founders Park. Winthrop rolls into town. Should be a nice day out there if you want to get out to the ballpark and catch a little baseball. If you want to continue to weigh in on that, 803-404-6100. All right. We're working on this. Several of y'all are weighing in. Jerry weighs in on the Firehouse Subs text line. Says, since you have a free pass space, put a suffer all punishment space. That seems excessive, because one of them, like, there's some stuff on here. I mean, look, I'm all for the dumb stuff, like the karaoke outside. We give you 2 songs and you got to sit outside. You know, now in this day and age, you've got your phone, you can read the lyrics. We can find a way to put some music. The musical instrument. Yeah, I'm with you. We have added 3 now. So we got 1 spot left. Preston's on board. We've added 3 here during the break. 803-404-6100. We're looking for that 4th if you want to weigh in. We've added, and this one will be a little loose because I'm not sure of our speed, but you've got to walk, we'll say, the last hour and a half of the show walking laps around the State House. I put 10, but I'm not going to lie. I've never done that. I've never done that. So I don't know if 10 is unrealistic. If it's too,
and Tommy Moody might know. I mean, he used to run the steps not that long ago, where he would run the steps of the State House.
Thank you.
You're right.
I think you need to set the pace at whatever makes you get into speed walking form.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever we can get the hips swaying and the elbows moving and you
And the
gotta
sweat going.
get that speed walk thing going around.
The Chris Paul commercial I've seen of late. Yes. All right. Yeah. Well,
whatever that pace is, we can get there.
So we're adding that laps around the State House for the last hour and a half of the program.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. You got to go walk the State House. That way people can come by, wave at you, honk at you, see you out there. We're going to keep a one that I've done before that's an oldie but a goodie. We like incorporating Brian Glenn, good guy. He will get a chance to redo. He took it easy on me last time because I was coming off of a stomach issue and I lost. And so he didn't make the pizza quite as spicy because he was, trying to be a good guy and not like send me back to the hospital for multiple days.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Brian Glenn's spicy pizza challenge will be on there. And then this one is kind of interesting as well. We'll incorporate Tony Annan, who we like having on the show. I say penalty kicks, but this is not us trying to stop the kicks. This is backing the ball up to the 18 box, backing it out of the typical penalty kick area because you and I don't need them taking full-on shots at us. We'll back the ball up, and they can kick it at us. You've got to defend yourself in goal.
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
We'll test the goalie skills.
That would work. That would work. That reminds me of the time when one of our punishments when I was teaching high school was to try to stop the girls' volleyball spikes.
Oh.
And that was terrifying. So I don't know about this.
The other one, we don't have the connections like we used to, but if you know anybody out there and you can get them to call in or connect with us, we talked about this at one time, and I think I was supposed to do this and we never got a connection to send me over there, is to put all the goalie gear on, all the goalie gear for hockey.
I don't like the way
and go over to the Plex out in Irmo, and you have to take like 4 or 5 slap shots coming after you. But we don't have a connection with the hockey team right now. I don't even know who to contact. So if anybody knows anybody, we might be willing to incorporate that on the thing here behind us. When we come back, I'll tell you who's spinning that wheel. Let me give you a hint. I'm promoting it multiple times. That should maybe tell you who it's going to be. 803. Yeah, that's right. 803-404-6100. That's how you can be a part of the program. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Have you missed any of the early game?
You can catch up by going to the early game on demand page at 1075thegame.com.
Or by downloading our 1075 The Game app on iTunes or Google Play.
Sponsored by Lexington Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. If you're dealing with injuries or pain, our team is here to get you better sooner.
Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. If your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. They'll come to you and they'll give you a free quote for any job. Cracked windshields, no problem. They'll come out to your location and replace it for you, usually for free. And they'll work directly with your insurance to take away the headache. If you're looking to increase the value of your home with new windows and mirrors, Absolute Glass will come out and take care of all of that for you. Windows, mirrors, showers, enclosures. As you hear me say all the time, if you can see through it, Ray and Marianne at Absolute Glass can do it. Check them out online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com. That's online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
Sponsored by South Carolina Education Lottery. Did you know that since 2002, more than $925 million in lottery proceeds has been used to fund lottery tuition assistance for students attending technical colleges in South Carolina? Playing for fun is a win for education. Visit sceducationlottery.com/educationwins for more info.
With Spectrum Mobile and the epic new Samsung Galaxy S23 series, you get the fastest Samsung phone delivering even faster speeds with Spectrum Speed Boost. Trade in with Spectrum and get $600 off the new Samsung Galaxy S23 series, plus the value of your trade-in. Visit a Spectrum store or spectrum.com/Samsung for details. Service not available in all areas. Internet required. Advanced Wi-Fi and compatible equipment required. Restrictions apply.
Hey, why not try something extreme and exciting this year, like zorbing?
Oh, dizzy? Ouch. Really dizzy?
Or maybe something really adventuresome, like human catapulting. Or maybe just try eating extremely good pizza from the Mellow Mushroom Pizza Bakers. We start with hand-tossed spring water dough, add the freshest ingredients, and bake it all on the stone. Now that's exciting and extremely delicious.
The Mellow Mushroom in the Vista and on Sunset in Lexington.
Plus, text entitled with approved credit call 866-243-4623 for details. Thousands of people around the Midlands had their credit damaged during the pandemic. Now, as they attempt to reestablish credit, they find themselves being turned down. JT wants to help, and he has the power to say, you're approved. Take advantage of the lowest prices on Jeeps right now, up to $7,500 off. Rams up to $11,000 off. You can drive for just $349 a month and help your credit. JT's Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, 378 Lexington, jtsjeep.com.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver," unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
107.5 The Game.
I like the dance-off idea. I feel like I have to figure out how to incorporate it.
Must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply. WYXTV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game. Okay.
I-26 eastbound, slow down there at exit 85 and have met still to the right lane currently blocked if you were making your way into the Columbia area. Slow down on 26 eastbound at exit 85, stay left. Also still cleaning things up downtown near your center at Survey. And a Putney Road at I-26, nothing for an accident there. 78 for the high today. Partly cloudy, 60
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
We'll give away a pair of tickets here for this Winthrop baseball game. That way I'm thinking of it right now, and that way we can say we at least gave away one. I'll probably try and give away two. If I'm in a nice mood here later, I'll give away three.
Eight 803-404-6100.
How you can weigh in right now, though. Let's give you a chance. If you've got time this afternoon, you want to get out to Founders Park, we've got you a pair of tickets. Caller number 5 will win a pair of tickets. 803-404-6100. You can win a pair of tickets to Founders Park today, South Carolina and Winthrop, 4 p.m. first pitch. If you want to get out there and be a part of that, 803-404-6100. Caller number 5, call in and we'll get you a pair of tickets to today's baseball game, so you can knock off work a little early and go check out some baseball. Preston should be nice over at Founders Park. Really expected to be a nice week across the board. I think we're getting up into the 70s today. So if you want to get out and enjoy it, 76 this afternoon. If you want to get out and go check that out, baseball over at Founders Park, 803-404-6100 is how you can do that. All right. The Wheel of Agony, as we call it, is back. Very excited about this. Very excited. So we've got one more that we've got to find. One more punishment to fit on the Wheel of Agony. I do like some kind of dance off outside. Yeah, something like that. We'll get to that by the end of the show. We'll have all the spots filled.
We won't. It's not going to be a dance off. It's going to be whatever the most recent TikTok trend is.
Okay. Well, we could do that.
We're
That'll
gonna
be
have to be like mayhem on the corner.
that is an option. We'll figure that's okay. We might throw that one on there. We'll see. We'll take a few more suggestions before about the final segment of the show. We'll spin the wheel to pay off this here loss. Who lost? All right. So we did the XFL over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
We picked 3 games. We had 3 games. Preston being the first timer, I let him pick 2 of the games he wanted. There was 4 XFL games this weekend. Preston picked 2 of the games. I picked the third.
Yep.
Excuse me. Preston took the Vegas Vipers.
Let's go Vipes.
They were in Arlington. Big game.
Yep.
Big game. Vegas. We just picked straight up. Arlington won 22-20.
Okay. I'll take one.
Okay.
That's my one. I know I got these other ones.
You're down 1.
0-1.
Seattle DC was Preston's other pick.
DC Defenders, let's go.
He went DC Defenders were at home. They were taking on Seattle. Seattle had to come all the way across the country. Big XFL
Long
game.
flight.
22-18. The Defenders defend home turf.
Let's go.
So in Preston's 2 picks, he went 1-1.
Uh-huh.
He went 1-1. So it came down to my pick. Of course, everybody was fired up. Early game on Sunday, St. Louis and San Antonio. St. Louis, everybody well-known XFL rivalry. Yeah. Battlehawks versus whatever San Antonio
Bahamas,
is.
I believe.
Bahamas, yeah, Bahamas, whatever. I don't know.
Brahma Bulls.
Yep, something. They were something.
Like the Rock.
I took St. Louis. I went St. Louis.
Bad choice.
Big Battlehawks fan over here.
Yep.
My team. St. Louis 18. San Antonio 15. Preston Thorne, ladies and gentlemen, at 8:45 this morning, will really be indoctrinated into the early game. We gave you a few weeks to feel comfortable, to learn the routine, the process of waking up early, coming into the show.
Now you're hosed.
We truly indoctrinate Preston later this week, but he will spin the wheel of agony coming up at 8:45. So at about 8 o'clock, we'll do Roses, Buds, and Thorns with Preston, his weekly observations, his weekend observations.
Is that the official name? Have we decided on that? Is it Rosebud Thorn? Is it Thorn, Bud, Rose?
It's going to be Thorns, Buds, and Roses.
Thorns, Buds, and Roses.
I just want to make sure we're getting it
We're
correct.
getting it right. And I have it in my mind, but it might be changing as we speak. Because if I have to do a TikTok dance because of some of these goofy XFL rules that they created, where you can go for a 3-point conversion if this is the reason why I lost, I'm going to be tight. So
I don't have a breakdown on how the games turned out. I've got the scores.
I feel like it was one of these goofy rules where you can keep the ball and just go for it on 4th and 15, some foolishness.
Mm-hmm.
And my thoughts about the XFL will be quickly turning. I'll be advocating against it from here forward, I believe.
Okay.
Only if I lost on one of these goofy rules.
There you go. So we I like this one. I think JS weighs in on our text line and says, I don't know if y'all have connections at Riverbank Zoo, but how about something like hold a tarantula for 5 seconds?
Ooh. Let's do it.
You like that?
Let's do it.
I do have a connection there, and I can reach out to her. And we used to a long time ago on a whole nother radio station in this town. Like this guy's, I've been here 6 years, almost 7, maybe in 7 in July. We used to do a segment similar to Dan Lebitard where we had people come in with snakes and animals and whatnot. I don't know how the management would feel if they walked in at 8 a.m. and we've got a snake in here or
Burmese
something.
python.
Yeah, but I'll investigate that situation with Riverbank Zoo. All right, we'll put that. You like that one? You like that? Be number 12.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see if I can reach out during the upcoming top of the hour break and make that happen. 803-404-6100. JC Sherbert set to join us in the next hour. We'll talk with him. We've got Thorns, Buds, and Roses, which is Preston's weekend observations coming up at 8 o'clock. Brian Edwards at 8:20 this morning. And Preston Thorne's initial spin of the Wheel of Agony at 8:45 this morning.
Now,
So
I did have somebody call and ask, how come Bill only had to pick one, but Preston had to pick 2? Is that how it went?
Well, because it was his first opportunity, so I gave him a chance to pick the winners.
Okay.
This goes back to the question: why is it that we love football so much, but we don't care about the XFL or USFL?
Mm-hmm. But I did. I have somebody ask. Okay, so Bill only picked one.
That way, he had
two.
more of a say in who he picked instead of me telling him who he had.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought that was
We
fair.
just want to make sure everything was fair enough.
I thought that was fair to let him
People
pick.
were concerned about Preston.
Thank you, listeners, for being concerned about it. But we are officially off of the Vipers.
Good call.
Hour 2.
JC Sherper's coming up
all the way.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
This is Gamecock quarterback Spencer Rattler, and you're listening to 107.5 The Game, the home of the Gamecocks.
A Cumulus media station.
Was text and title with approved critical 888-411-7640 for details. Do you want a truck? JT's got them at JT's Dodgeland. South Carolina's truck giant is loaded with Rams. New 2022 Bighorn Ram up to $11,000 off. Drive for just $349 a month. New Chargers and Challengers save $5,000 below MSRP. Credit concerns? Other dealers don't have the power of South Carolina's truck giant. JT is the man who says yes. Dodgeland on Greystone, jtsdodge.com. President's Day sales event.
If it's round, rubber, and roll, Rose got it. If it's round, rubber, and roll, Rose got it.
Hey folks, Cameron Bo Williamson here with Bow Tie and Oil, now open next to the Publix at Hendricks Crossing in Lexington. We are family owned and operated, serving the Midlands for over 30 years. Come check us out or give us a call at 803-520-4444.
If it's round, rubber, and roll, Bow Tires got it.
Hey, this is Ray.
And Mary Ann with Absolute Glass.
And we're happy to have been voted Lexington's best glass store for 13 years in a row.
Many drivers are unaware that your cracked windshields can be replaced, usually at absolutely no cost to you.
If all the high-end car dealerships in town can trust us to do their glass needs, so can you.
We service the Midlands both at our shop in Lexington, but we are also happy to come to you at home or work.
Find us online at absoluteglassinc.com. And remember, if you can see through it, we can do it.
Hey, South Carolina, Scott here from Traditions with good news if you're in the market for an engagement ring or for diamond jewelry, because we have the largest selection you'll see anywhere in the Southeast. And whether you're in the market for a traditional mined diamond or for one of these amazing new lab-grown diamonds, we've got you covered. Because whether you're buying mined or lab, you'll be happy to know that at Traditions, we guarantee the trade-in value of both kinds of diamonds at our store. So if the day comes where you want an even bigger diamond, we'll be happy to give you full value you paid for your original when you trade it in. Even better, we have over 1,000 diamond rings in stock, so you'll get to try on pretty much every style imaginable. And if you still don't see exactly the right design, we'll be glad to custom make it for you. And yes, we have interest-free financing for qualified buyers. So come see us and get the ring of your dreams with a diamond of your choice, only at Traditions Fine Jewelers, South Carolina's diamond superstore and customization destination, on Sunset in Lexington and at the Fountain in Sand Hills, where the Midlands get engaged.
I tell you what, we will give a pair of tickets away on the live stream because Kelly says it's a shame there's not a way to win tickets on here. Well, I tell you what, just for the live stream, you've got one. Looks like we've got about 30 people in the live stream is what I can tell from now. I tell you what, at like 7:15 when we go to the next break, I'll tell the live streamers they can call you, whoever calls in. We'll see who's got access to a phone that can win tickets for today's baseball game. Yep. So we'll do that in just a little while. We'll give you a chance on the live stream.
Hour number 2 on a Tuesday morning. Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen. Let's just give you a quick update real quick here. Jen, it looks like outside as we opened the show, we had I would say, in all seriousness, a pretty severe wreck. There was a upside down SUV here at Gervais. And what is this right down here? Sumter. Gervais and Sumter looked like a 2-car wreck. As you were coming up Gervais away from the Vista. It looks like that has been cleared up. So if you are traveling outside of our studios this morning, it looks like we have at least, or they, the proper authorities have gotten that cleaned up.
We haven't done anything.
Yeah, we just produced we did a radio show for an hour.
But I tell you what, that's scary to drive up and see, a car upended like that's, especially in town. You think, how does that happen? There had to be, I'm thinking somebody wasn't going 30.
Yeah. It was that, and then back behind me on Marion and Gervais, they had the road blocked, so you couldn't come down. But it looks like all this has been cleared up. Preston and I were looking. I don't see the lights out there. So if you had noticed that or heard of that this morning, it looks like Gervais now flowing freely up and down as it should. So thank you to all the people who got that cleared up. Hope everybody's safe out there. I believe that's about it right now for traffic. There was another car as I came off of I-20 126 this morning coming into town on Hugh G. Looked like they had a blown out tire in the far right lane. I would assume that has been cleared up as well.
I think so there is something at Richland and Hugh G right now, but that's a different accident.
Yeah.
So we'll give an update here shortly.
A lot going on. Weather should be great today. 803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in on anything related to South Carolina sports. Certainly a very good weekend. And joining us now to talk about that is J.C. Sherbert of the BigSpur.com. And JC, I tell you what, obviously anytime South Carolina wins a football game, it's a great weekend, but they sweep UMass Lowell. The men's and women's teams in basketball win games. I'd have to go and look at all the other sports. I know the soccer team went down to Charleston and produced a draw in a very good match with a professional team, the Charleston Battery. You got a standout moment from the weekend, baseball, basketball, or just anything that happened in the life of J.C. Sherbert?
Well, I mean, I think the baseball, sometimes it's, you heard the old phrase, just what the doctor ordered. I think that you look around South Carolina sports and, not so much at with this past football season, but, in all 4 sports that people really keep up with, there's been problems scoring, including women's basketball up until this year. And I think baseball's been especially frustrating for people because the pitching's been okay. And then last year, the pitching, there was an issue with the injuries and all that. So I think having approaches at the plate by the Gamecock hitters this past weekend and then getting the pitching everybody expected was a welcome development for the Gamecocks. I think that when you look at Carolina baseball, that looked like a Gamecock baseball team, for lack of a better term. And it's 3 games in. You don't want to, anoint anybody or any teams right now. 3 games into the season, they have another game tonight. Actually, 8 games in 10 days to start it off. But it wasn't so much that they scored a bunch of runs and the lopsided margins of victory. It was just kind of the approach they took. I mean, very patient hitters, not swinging at, bad pitches, making the guys pitch to them, being aggressive early in the count, that kind of thing. I thought it was it looked like a baseball team that said this offseason, we're going to change things up, and is that Monty Lee? Is that just guys getting better? Is that the newcomers? I mean, I don't know. We'll see kind of how it all unfolds, but I thought that was probably the feel-good moment, of the weekend. Really good basketball win for the men on the road. I think anytime you hit 15 3-pointers, you have a shot to win the game, and they did. I thought that's the best they've looked in a long time, maybe even this season. And I know LSU is not that good, but I don't know, top to bottom, LSU probably has better players, or at least more depth than the Gamecocks. I mean, it's hard to say, but another road win. And then I thought it was very good for the women's basketball team to get challenged at Ole Miss on Sunday. I think, a lot of times basketball teams that are so dominant, basketball is a tournament sport, as we all know. they get in the tournament and they get in a close game and they don't know how to react. Well, Saturday was a good close game. It's probably the third one of the year they've had. A Stanford UConn were relatively close as well. And they took control in overtime against an upstart Ole Miss program that's only going to get better and better under Coach Yo. I guess that's what they call her. They've had a Coach O and a Coach Yo at Ole Miss. Coach O, go Tigers. But so that's this is a good weekend. I mean, we talked on the show yesterday. I think we named the episode Sunshine Monday because it was just it was a good weekend for the Gamecocks.
Preston, let me ask you, and then I'll come back to you, JC. Football and baseball, interesting sports, because basketball, I feel like, is more intertwined with offense and defense because it's the same, kind of the same group. It's the same five, if you will. So you should kind of be able to do both. In baseball, if you have to pick one, would you rather have a great weekend of pitching or a great weekend of hitting? Which in baseball do you think inspires more confidence in a team that, hey, we can go out and win? Great pitching or great hitting?
Yeah, I think the traditional idea is that it's going to be great pitching because the idea is that you take your arms with you and defense never leaves, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's what you want. However, from the fan perspective, I want to see them balls flying out of the park.
Well,
that's I mean, that's what I want to see. But that's me being a fan. But as a team, I think it's pitching.
As a team, because I'm not asking you, right? JC, I'll say the same thing. Football, yeah, we want to see. You'd rather see 52 to 48 victories, right? Like you'd rather see the offense be great. But I'll ask both of you again, JC, in the locker room, the players themselves gain more confidence from offensive performances or defensive pitching or defensive performances?
Well, I agree with Preston as far as the game goes. I mean, you want pitching and defense. Those are the teams that win championships in baseball. But also, for right now at South Carolina, you take hitting. I mean, even if UMass Lowell had, they were a pretty good base stealing team, last year and had a lot of those guys coming back. Let's say they had gotten on the bases and given them trouble and maybe scored more than they did, but then you look up and you got 20, 17, and 12 on the board. I think you take that just because of, the struggles at the plate this program's had through the years, the issues from last year, the question mark coming in. I think they have plenty of arms. Question mark coming in was the hitting. I don't know how good UMass Lowell's pitching staff is. My guess is probably not good considering what they hit 4 batters in a row. I think Saturday or Friday. But it's the approach, and it was an all good around weekend. So I think right now, you want to see some hits and some runs on the board, because I think the pitching is going to be there.
803-404-6100. We'll get into a little South Carolina football, get back into what JC brought up, and get Preston's take on coaches mending fences with players. Gigi Jackson, I have no clue. We're not inside the locker room. We'll get Preston to kind of at least take us in that mindset. Gigi Jackson bounces back 20 points, 8 rebounds. That's the big stat. 8 rebounds. Went in there and banged around. It was a non-efficient 20 points, 5 of 17. But you know what? He played much better. We'll get Preston's take on that, get JC's take on that, and roll along. You're listening to JC Sherbert, Preston Thorne. I'm Bill Gunner. She's Jen Jensen. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Got something to say?
Ring us up on the Love Chevy phone line. South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer.
At 803-404-6100.
Your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute. With 70% of the NHL regular season complete, the New York Islanders and Washington are among the teams in the scramble for the 2 Eastern Conference wildcard playoff spots, while out west, Minnesota is currently clinging to the second wildcard berth. My crystal ball tells me the Islanders will make the playoffs, while the Capitals and Wild don't. I'm Boomer Esiason.
At Staples, you can count on every project being print perfect, guaranteed.
I need presentations and brochures printed, and they have to be perfect.
Your bounded presentations, brochures with the finest folds, and more will be done right every time. That's our Print Big promise. Now at Staples, get $10 off your document printing and marketing materials order of $50 or more, plus 20% back via store bonus. Try Staples and see the difference. Ends 2/25. Rewards members only. Bonus must be redeemed in store. See staples.com/stores/printbig for details.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. When you're at your best, you can do great things. Working with a therapist can help you get closer to the best version of yourself. Because when you feel empowered, you're more ready for life's challenges. BetterHelp is a great therapy option. It's flexible, affordable, entirely online, and it matches you with a licensed therapist. Let therapy help empower you. Visit betterhelp.com/tryit to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/tryit.
Sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Print and Marketing is committed to quality and printing perfect every time. Now at Staples, get $10 off your document printing and marketing materials order of $50 or more. Offer ends 2/25. See staples.com/stores/printbig for details. Try Staples and see the difference.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
When you can't stop, there's Vicks VapoRub. Vicks VapoRub sends powerful medicated Vicks vapors right to the source of your... so you can experience cough relief and breathe easier. Generations of families have trusted Vicks VapoRub to help relieve the worst cold symptoms. So next time you have a cough, reach for the Vicks VapoRub. Vicks VapoRub. Cough relieving is believing.
Uneven sidewalks, pool decks, or patios? Canty can repair them for just a fraction of the cost of replacement. Call Canty Foundation Specialists today for your free estimate.
Canty can fix it.
Uneven concrete can be a dangerous tripping hazard leading to injury. Call the experts at Canty to permanently repair your sinking or cracked concrete. Call 753-1495 or visit cantycanfixit.com. Canty can fix it. Wilson Kibler is a full-service commercial real estate firm with offices in Columbia and Greenville, specializing in helping businesses, owners, and investors with all of their commercial real estate needs. Wilson Kibler has a team of skilled brokers that can help advise you on leasing, buying, and selling commercial real estate. They also provide commercial and residential property management services. Call 803-779-8600 to learn more. Wilson Kibler, South Carolina's trusted commercial real estate advisor since 1987.
Hey, why not try something extreme and exciting this year, like Extreme Pogo? Woohoo! Going for the backflip! Or maybe something really adventuresome, like wingsuit flying. Tree! Or maybe just try eating extremely good pizza from the Mellow Mushroom Pizza Bakers. Hand-tossed, spring water dough, fresh ingredients, all baked on the stone. Now that's exciting and extremely delicious. The Mellow Mushroom in the Vista and on Sunset in Lexington.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring sergeants and lieutenants statewide. If you have correctional, security, military, or police experience, you can join SCDC as a sergeant or lieutenant. There's $7,500 sign-on bonuses, increased pay, and great employee benefits available. Start your new year off with a new career. Visit joinscdc.com to apply today or call 803-734-JOBS for more information.
Mix a little sports analysis, pop culture, and great interviews, and you've got the Rich Eisen Show podcast.
One of the voices of the Los Angeles Dodgers, Charlie Steiner. Carl Lewis singing the national anthem 30 years ago. Your coverage of it leading to one of the greatest giggle fits of all time.
It was like being in the back row when a substitute teacher was in, and you're holding it in, and you're holding it in until you can't, and 2 minutes later, you're in the principal's office.
The Rich Eisen Show podcast, wherever you listen.
Get the right care at the right place. Visit Lexington Medical Center's convenient urgent care centers for minor illnesses and injuries, and use our emergency room for emergencies. Go to lexmed.com/care now to know where to go for the care you need now.
1075 The Game traffic, sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
First Alert Traffic on your Tuesday morning. We have a couple incidents that we want to talk about. On Gervais Street, there's an overturned vehicle near the State House.
that is causing some delays. So budget in some extra time if you're going to be traveling downtown. Also, Richland County, Brickyard Road, Cross Streets, Hardscrabble Road, there's a collision causing some delays. Also, we have one more in Newberry County, I-26 eastbound, exit 85. We have a collision. And then in Lexington County, Piney Grove Road, Cross Streets, I-26, there's a collision. I'm First Alert meteorologist Kevin Arnaud.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
The early game
With Bill Gunter, former Gamecock Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen.
on your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
Eight 803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in this morning. Firehouse Subs text line if you want to be a part of the program. The GG Jackson thing, we're coming to the end of the season. It's been an interesting roller coaster ride for him this year. A lot of good moments, some down moments. He does bounce back on Saturday. A lot of questions about him. Preston, I'll start with you on this. You've seen it in the locker room. I don't know, and without maybe naming names, if you've seen a particular instance where there was a lot of criticism of a player in the media, maybe things weren't going well with a coach, but yet somehow they were able to find common ground and that player stand up. You were obviously at South Carolina for 5 years. There was some tumultuous times there. There was some good, some tumultuous. Derek Watson was a guy that was scrutinized. Is that the right word? I don't know how you would do that, but how did you see it handled in the locker room, behind closed doors, when maybe a player was taking a lot of public criticism, questions about his attitude, his effort, and maybe even the coaches were not particularly pleased with him? How did that play out in the locker room, in your opinion?
Yeah, this happens more so than people would probably imagine. I mean, teams are families, and families go through things, and there's ups and downs with individual players. It could be the head coach. It could be a player and an assistant coach that are not getting along for a spell, and they could get it resolved, or they may not get it resolved. Who knows how these things are happening? There was one time where Preston, had to act as the translator from one coach to a player. The player wasn't speaking to the coach wasn't speaking to the player, and it was sort of like, Preston, tell such and such this, and then the player would say, Preston, tell coach this, and that was, and we were all in the same room. So,
Okay.
and I'm not saying that was functional or ideal, but all I'm saying is these types of things happening, and with Gigi being as high profile as he is, it just happens to have a little bit more spotlight on him. So, it's ebbs and flows and ups and downs, and it seems like maybe we're on a little bit more of an upswing now.
JC, Gigi's numbers, 35 minutes, led the team in minutes on Saturday. It wasn't an efficient scoring performance. Let's be clear about that. He was 5 of 17, 4 of 10 from three-point range. He does make all 6 of his free throws. I think the big stat there, maybe you would agree, you saw him be aggressive. He led the team in rebounds. That was nice to see. 8 rebounds for G.G. Jackson on Saturday. That's, I think, the stat people are looking at, because that's an effort. That's an effort stat. And with his size, with his length, with his athleticism, he should be able to get in there and be a little bit more aggressive around the boards.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of his game needs to come along. Is kind of them getting inside and making things happen. And obviously, he's a good shooter. He's not an elite shooter right now, but I think grabbing those boards, getting inside, using his size, not playing so far out from the basket. I know he's a wing technically, but those types of things. I think if you kind of looked at it, that would be what you would kind of look at if you're talking about G.G. Jackson. So, yeah, I mean, I thought that, and I said this last week. I think it's important for G.G. to finish this year out good, with some confidence and some good feelings. I think it's important for the program moving forward, Lamont Paris and all of that, because what you don't want to do is have this narrative floating around about, oh, why'd the kid go to South Carolina, blah, 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 blah. And then the program gets blamed, because that's what happens sometimes when you have a guy that doesn't necessarily go to a blue blood, especially in basketball. So you want to avoid all that. And I thought Saturday was certainly a good step forward with all that. I think, a lot of smiles on the court. Gigi wasn't the only one that had a good game. Michi Johnson was on fire. Jacoby Wright played really well. Hayden Brown played really well. I mean, Josh Gray continues to get boards. They were without Chico Carter too. So, all in all, a lot of reasons to feel good about what happened Saturday.
Going back to what you just said, I think that's the big thing is the foundation of the program, because are we all in agreement? I'll start with you, JC. Gigi Jackson's not coming back, right? Like, I know some people are saying, well, he should come back and work on his game and get ready for the NBA. Part of it was the collective bargaining agreement that's set to expire. He wanted to get to the NBA. That was all part of the reclassification. If he wasn't, I don't know how to phrase this properly without being offensive, but if he wasn't in a rush to get to the NBA, he would have stayed in high school for one more year to develop and then come to college with his class. Are you in agreement there? He's not going to be at South Carolina next year, regardless of how these next 4 games play out, right? You with me on that?
I'd be very surprised. I mean, just because, like you said, with the NBA and the collective bargaining agreement coming, you kind of want to get in on this one. So yeah, I agree with that. And as a player, could he stand another year in college, maybe improve his draft stock? Yeah, but you know what? They're projected 15th, 16th, and in basketball, the money's just so good. I mean, it's good in football too for a first rounder with the signing bonuses and stuff, but salaries aren't guaranteed in that sport. But I mean, you can change your life real quick getting drafted by the NBA, and I think he should. I think that we can sit here as fans and analysts and all that and say, well, he's just not ready. But who really is at that age? And we've seen guys go at that age before and develop quite nicely at that level. So, I'd be surprised if he comes back. These days I never say never about anything because nothing surprises me anymore. But I would be very, very surprised if he returned to South Carolina next year.
Preston, how was it when you played? Because I feel like there were guys, without mentioning them by name, that basically kind of, I don't want to say checked out on the season, but they were more focused on what was about to happen in their NFL than maybe they were on their current team as y'all were kind of struggling. Now, y'all were always fighting for bowl eligibility. You were sitting right there with 5, but how is that in the locker room for your teammates when you feel like said player, maybe big-time player, has now put his eyes more on his future than on his present?
Yeah, I really think that in some of those years when we were right on the fringe, right on the border, especially that first year, I believe we went 5 and 7 years. We lost to Georgia to David Pollock play and all that. I think if you talk to some of those seniors on those teams, they probably admit to a man that at a certain point during that season, they all started focusing on what the next step was instead of staying and fighting for what they could have had here. And, and it worked out for a majority of them at the next level, but they sort of left some unfinished business here. And yeah, that does happen. And that's really difficult to reconcile because as JC said, you have this idea of I'm going to make a lot of money to change my family's trajectory, to change my personal trajectory, or am I going to stay here and try and pull through when things aren't going well? It's a really interesting situation especially for those young people to be in.
803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in this morning. We come back. I want to get into this football discussion with y'all that I do find interesting. The XFL. Again, do we need a break from football? Like, does it help us? We'll talk a little bit about that if we just flat take a break. 803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
We are very social. At 107.5 The Game on Twitter, 107.5 The Game on Instagram, and 107.5 The Game on Facebook.
Oh, Teddy, did you get my friend request? I'll have to check.
Your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
Integrated Media, get your outdoors ready for the spring and the summer. The weather is turning and it's getting about to be nice outside. You want to be outside with it. Get your Samsung Terrace TVs that are waterproof, Sonos outdoor speakers for TV and music, Wi-Fi that works indoors and outdoors. Control all your devices from just one remote. From home theater setup to adjusting your thermostat or monitoring your security systems from your cell phone, Integrated Media is the company to call. Call Nathan and Michael at 803-948-8327. Again, that's Nathan and Michael at 803-948-8327. Or you can check them out online at integratedmediainc.com. That's integratedmediainc.com.
Hi, my husband and I own a small business in Columbia, and we ended up needing some help with some tax problems that we had and needed to get resolved. We initially owed about $300,000, and John Ecton and his law firm ended up getting us an offer in compromise, which dramatically reduced the amount owed. I would personally recommend the Ecton Law Firm. They did an excellent job for us, and if this is a concern that you're facing, they're definitely the people you should call.
It's great to know we have changed people's lives for the better. Hi, this is local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm. For over a decade, our office has been dedicated to helping hardworking individuals and businesses solve tax problems for good. So if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call our office today at 771-9800 or go to EctonLawFirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com. Let's get your tax problem solved for good. Call today. You'll be glad you did.
Experience the future of connectivity with Spectrum One. You get Spectrum Internet delivering the fastest speeds in the nation for $49.99 a month. Advanced Wi-Fi for enhanced privacy and security, free for 12 months. And a Spectrum mobile line with unlimited talk, text, and data, plus nationwide 5G, free for 12 months. That's Spectrum One. Visit Spectrum.com or your local Spectrum store today. Offer subject to change. Valid for qualified residential customers only. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
What's up, Gamecock Nation? This is Spencer Rattler, here to tell you about the best South Carolina coverage out there at GamecockCentral.com. For a limited time, you could become a member and get access to all USC sports and recruiting information you want for a special deal. Head over to GamecockCentral.com now to become an insider and join the family.
Are you passionate about helping children and families? Turn that passion into results. New child welfare case managers with the South Carolina Department of Social Services can earn a starting salary of at least $41,200, with additional salary increases for BSW and MSW degrees, and annual increases after 1 year of service. Learn more at dss.sc.gov. This message is sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Social Services.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing. And for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Winter is here, and is your old gas furnace just not keeping up with winter this year? Don't worry. AAA Heating and Air has got you taken care of. Give them a phone call today, 803-677-1500. You need to tell them Bill Gunner sent you. You can get a free estimate and discounts on qualifying furnace systems. That's right, 803-677-1500. Call AAA Heating and Air today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
We're going to do a contest.
107.5 The Game Traffic. Sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
803-404-6100. Be calling number 3 and you get a pair of tickets to this afternoon's game. We have a spill with the right lane blocked, I-26 eastbound there at exit 85. Also, Sumster Street at Gervais Street, getting that cleared up from an earlier accident. Hardscrabble Road at North Brickyard Road. Also, I-20 westbound at Broad River Road. And Piney Grove Road at I-26. One other accident Richland Street at QG downtown. 78 for the high today at 60 right now. 107.5 the game.
What we're talking about on 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
Eight zero 6100. If you want to be a part of the program, I'm going to put a poll question out, guys, because I'm kind of fascinated in this. There is this thought process, JC and Preston, that Americans, we have to have football, any kind of football. I'll take it, whatever it is. Football, put them out, 100-yard field, 52.5 yards wide, 11 players on each side, tackling, grunting, sweaty guys, just the whole 9 yards, right? That's football. Got to have it. We got to have football. We get so fired up in July for SEC Media Days, and August for spring, for fall camp, and the first Saturday of college football season, the first Sunday of – and it's the concept of we have to have football 365 days a year. Yet, I feel like Terry Ford was just in here. He was talking with us about the same thing, said he is not – the only XFL stuff he saw all weekend was the highlights. I think you and I combined to watch 0 minutes of the XFL. JC, I know you're a busy guy. Did you get into any XFL this weekend?
No. Didn't watch it down. I actually forgot it was on. And look, I've kind of mixed opinions on this. I think another football league's good, and it's probably because I covered recruiting for a long time, and call me soft or whatever. I like to see people's dreams come true. I think we're about toward the end of all the guys I covered across the country that are still playing, but I just think football is different than other sports. You can't go play football your whole life. You can play golf, you can play tennis, you can play basketball, you can play church league softball. If you're a baseball guy. You can box, you can wrestle, but you can't play football forever. And just from that standpoint, the chance to go put the pads on again and compete, I'm happy for all those guys. Now, from a business standpoint, I don't understand why, and I don't know, because I like The Rock a lot, you know what I'm saying? But why are we coming back with the XFL and USFL at the same exact time? I don't get it. I'm like, none of these leagues have lasted, and then they compete against each other. And so it's like, well, there's just not enough pieces of the pie. This has been tried before. I get good TV programming, and it's a sport we all love and can't get enough of. But, as happy as I am for the guys going to play, I hope they get paid and can make a living, or at least some money off of it. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I question about it. Is it why is there a need always to have two or multiple? When I think one. Let's try that for a while and see how it works, and go from there.
All right, number one, I've got a poll question out. I've got everybody tagged in it. Preston, JC, Jen. I do find this. I actually am very interested to see the results of this poll question, because again, there's this concept that we all have to have football, right? So I'm asking, you have to watch one of the 3 football games. Which are you most likely to watch? Wednesday night Maction, so Toledo and Ball State from the Glass Bowl, famous, of course, it's a big game. Toledo, Ball State. XFL or USFL? Preston, which one are you most likely to sit down? You're forced to watch a game on a weekly basis, one game. Which one are you most likely to watch? The college Maction game, the XFL game, or the USFL game?
That's not even a question, Bill. That's a bad poll question.
Really?
Because the XFL and the UFL, was that what it is?
USFL.
Yeah, them.
United States Football League.
Those guys. It's a distant second and third to Maction.
Really?
Yeah, I watch Maction voluntarily. You don't have to sit me down for that.
JC, are you with Preston on this? Is it a bad poll question? Did I ask a bad poll question?
I think with the audience we're talking to now, it's probably gonna be about 90-something% Maction. Just because we all love college football.
Really? See,
there's some markets that pro ball is more popular. But I don't know. I don't know. I mean, like up in Chicago, they're talking about the Bears are leaving Soldier Field, and they're talking about moving the Jaguars to Soldier Field.
Oh, okay.
And I'm sitting there going, I don't know how that's going to work, but it's a large enough place, and people love pro football enough to where I think it would get maybe some support. I think you have to change the name, maybe call it something different. But and in Chicago, I mean, the only reason they have two baseball teams is because of the North and South Side rivalry. I mean, it's not like it's been like New York or LA with the multiple NFL franchise towns and all that could support it. But that's the question. I mean, so in that market, maybe, nobody cares about Maction, and they're going to say XFL, USFL. But I think for folks below the Mason-Dixon line and in places they love college football, like, some of the Big Ten states like Iowa and places like Nebraska, I mean, it's always going to be Maction.
803-404-6100. I'm kind of interested to see this vote starting to weigh in. 71% right now going with Maction, 29% going with right now the XFL. I guess that's because that's owned. Preston, you mentioned not watching it. As a player, would you appreciate the XFL and USFL and the opportunity, I guess they're at least trying to give you to maybe showcase your talents, or would you look at it as the true minor leagues? I don't know how we really view minor league baseball, and that I feel like minor league baseball is more for Thirsty Thursdays and White Claw Wednesdays, and you get the like, all right, I'll go have a beverage and watch some baseball that has no real meaning. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yes, I mean, as a player at the time when I was young, it might have been a cool opportunity for somebody to extend their playing times for another year or two and say that they played in the pro. As an adult now, I really don't. I mean, I'm looking at the salary structures, and I think part of my thing is I don't want to. The average XFL salary is $55,000, and I think the basis of this is I don't want to watch you play football if you're making $50,000. Like, you can go do something else. You can go be an accountant. You can go be a school teacher. You can go be a fireman, police officer. We don't need to watch you play football for that amount of money, man. So I don't advocate for it. I get the idea that you get to play another year or two, but most of these dudes are not going to the NFL. They're not going any place further than this. And yeah, man, that's JC's right. The thing about football is you can't play anymore, and then you just have to turn in the pads. That's about it.
I'm just looking at some of the names here that played this weekend. Josh Gordon was a name that obviously everybody knew. Ben DiNucci, I believe I'm saying that correct, the former Cowboy quarterback who stepped in and got some run there in a game. I was just kind of looking at some of the names that pop up there. AJ McCarron and Austin Prohl were two names that I at least recognize. McCarron, I think everybody recognizes. Prohl, JC, I'm trying to think. I think we covered him in recruiting, which is why I more remember his name. Is that correct? Son of Ricky Prohl?
Okay.
Yeah, Ricky Prohl. His dad was in the NFL for a long time. He played at Wake Forest back in the 80s.
Wide receiver.
During the Joe Morrison era at South Carolina, yeah.
Paxton Lynch was playing quarterback.
That was a first-round pick.
How about Paxton Lynch?
Exactly.
Justin Fuente's find. Yeah, so, no, there are some names. And I think also, getting back to recruiting, I think that's one of the positives I think that's come from this overwhelming recruiting coverage everybody does now, is that you remember names even if they don't get drafted, because hey, your college or somebody's college at some point recruited them, and most of them maybe were highly rated, or you at least remember them doing something in college. So that's kind of part of it, and I think that's a key to drawing fans in, just to have recognizable names on the team that people have an affinity for.
This is kind of where I'm going with. Marshall puts it a lot better than I do. He says, and I'll ask both of you this, does the XFL and USFL not work nowadays because the football is that bad, or because we don't recognize the logos and the people? Now, some of the people you recognize, because one of the guys who played this weekend was the initial star, the first true star of name, image, likeness. Can y'all name that player? Do you know who that player was? Do either of you guys remember who the initial star was? A transfer player. Transferred and didn't have it. Ended up the school he went to. If I tell you the school he went to, you'll be like, oh yeah, I know exactly who he is. Got injured, didn't play that much, but can either of y'all name me who seemed to be the initial star of name, image, likeness? JC, any guess?
Probably not.
You want to take a stab?
If I could, I bet if I thought long and hard about it, I'd figure it out. But I can't.
You want to take a stab real quick?
I was gonna say Johnny Manziel, but that's not it.
No. I did the actual name, image, likeness. So this was like in the last 2 years. 2 years, yeah. Signed a contract, was a big deal. Is that a school? Real quick, I'll move on from this and tell you who it is. De'Aaron King.
Oh yeah, Miami.
Yeah,
that's
transferred from Houston.
Yeah. He signed a big deal with the party promotion company, and now he's in the XFL.
Will got it right on our Firehouse Subs text line. Yeah, De'Aaron King was he's in the XFL. Yeah, defender, quarterback. That just goes to show
my
you.
Defenders. How did I know? My quarterback. Dang. But it got me a dub this weekend.
To Marshall's point, JC, is the football bad, or is it because we don't have an affiliation? We don't have a connection with players, with logos, with teams?
I think it's probably the latter, because I think some markets, like, okay, so, gosh, it was winter of right before the pandemic, February of 2020. Our good friend G.A. Mangus was coaching for the New York Guardians, and so the fiance and I drove to St. Louis for the game with the St. Louis Battlehawks, and St. Louis people were pissed off because the Rams left and went back to L.A. And they packed, what was it, the Trans World Dome? They packed that place out.
Oh.
And now, of course, the upper deck was shut off. But, I mean, the lower bowl was completely full, and it was loud. And, so for that particular market, they're going to rally behind it. But, you put a team in D.C., they got enough to worry about with the daggum Redskins. I mean, it's just, the Commanders. And didn't mean to be anti-PC there, but that thing's a 365 day a year drama. You put a team. I mean, they're always trying to put teams in San Antonio. I mean, it just I don't know. I feel like there's a way this all could work, but nobody really. I think people get too drawn to like population metrics and things like that, rather than does this community love football? Would they embrace this? Because I think that sometimes, and there's more revenue streams than just ticket sales, of course. But I think sometimes people get too caught up in bigger markets, and they don't realize that it's a big market, but nobody cares. They don't care about their NFL team, So their NFL team's a big enough problem. So I think that's probably something that could be wise. But I do think that's a great point by Marshall, is that if like the St. Louis Battlehawks, I mean, they're back, and I think they're getting pretty good support because
Battlehawks.
That's their team. Yeah, I mean that's the Battlehawks. So I think it just kind of depends on where you're at, and and all that, and that affinity. I did think the USFL bringing back the old mascots was kind of cool, but I mean, where's Steve Spurrier with the Tampa Bay Bandits, man? I want to see the head ball coach dial up one or two more. So.
It was my Battlehawks that will have the victory. My Battlehawks with the victory over San Antonio that will have
Eric King,
Preston. Yeah, Preston will be spinning the wheel of agony at around 8:45 this morning because my Battlehawks with a big victory over San Antonio this weekend. We'll come back. We'll wrap up some final thoughts with JC Sherbert. Brian Edwards set to join us at 8:20 this morning, and Thorns, Buds, and Roses coming up. Preston Thorns weekend observations. A lot to do as we roll along. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
107.5 The Game on demand podcast menu.
Sponsored by Lexington Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
If you're dealing with injuries or pain, our team is here to get you better sooner.
On the home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by eBay Motors. You might not have the biggest garage on the block, but with eBay Motors, there's 122 million parts right at your fingertips, whatever you need. There's something that fits your vehicle. Air filters, tires, seat covers, and more. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Life matters. I've often thought it strange that men and women are willing to die for the freedom of the world, but seem unwilling to make even small sacrifices to free themselves from individual bondage. Stories abound of battlefield heroes who return home to live wasted lives because of addictions, dysfunctions, or some type of destructive behavior. Jesus must have had something like this in mind when he said, "What profit is there if you win the whole world but lose your own soul?" A life lived with Jesus at its point of focus not only makes the world a better place, but also adds significance and meaning on the personal level. The Bible says Jesus came to give us meaningful life, including joy-filled relationship with others and with God. To Stephen Chitty, pastor of Christian Life, visit us on the web at christianlifecolumbia.com, and remember, life matters, and so do you. Go to clcolumbia.com for in-person and live streaming service times.
Post-tax tax entitled with approved credit call 866-243-4623 for details. JT's Jeep Ram 378 in Lexington has huge discounts on new Jeeps. Wranglers, $5,000 off, and other Jeeps up to $7,500 off. The lowest prices on Jeeps, we guarantee it. How about a Ram? Up to $11,000 off. You could drive for just $349 a month. And if you've had credit problems in the past, come see JT. He has the power to say yes. JT.
All right, right now. Call right now, 803-404-6100. Win a pair of tickets to today's baseball game versus Winthrop, 4 p.m. first pitch. Caller number 3 wins. So we'll be looking for it. So if you're on the live stream, it's a live stream special. We're not even saying it on the radio. 803-404-6100. Let's see who calls in. You can win tickets to today's game. I'll leave that up there. If you can go 4 p.m. first pitch, we'll see who calls in. It's up on I've got it up on the live stream. So we'll see if any of the caller, if anybody watching on the live stream, if not, we'll just give them one. But that'll be a live stream exclusive that you could potentially win. So
a word to the wise. When you have varsity instructors come in and say, "I am so tired. We did a slumber party, smell girl, and whatever. I'm worn out." Don't fall for that crap. You think you're gonna have it easy? Oh hell no!
That's the day when you really get after it.
Oh my gosh! We go from which they do bar 3 burpees, so they're not exactly small burpees, but then we go from that. And then you're doing like the step taps and stuff like that. And then we go right into like jumping jacks. Like, okay, where's the tank of oxygen?
Was that a Monday workout?
It was yesterday.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, we thought, oh man, she's gonna take it easy on her. She's tired.
Of course not.
Psych and
First visit is completely free and confidential. You'll meet with a licensed attorney in person at our office in Irmo, just off I-26. If you're facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call me, John Exton, at 803-771-9800. That's 803-771-9800.
left. Again, I-26 eastbound at exit 85. A couple other tie-ups to let you know about. Hardscrabble Road at North Brickyard Boulevard. I-20 westbound at Fairfield Road. I-20 westbound at Broad River Road. Report of an object on the highway. I-26 eastbound there at Bush River Road. Out in the Elgin area, Kelly Mill Road at Bombing Range Road. And in downtown Columbia, Richland Street. Easy for me to say. Richland at Hugie. Great forecast on tap. 78 for the high today, 81 tomorrow, 84 on Thursday. It's 61 right now at 107.5 The Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
Discover Herndon Certified, Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. The early game
With Bill Gunter, Preston Thorne, and Shen Jensen.
on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
$7:54 on a Tuesday morning. JC Sherbert, Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, as we wrap up here with JC of the BigSpur.com. And JC, real quick, not a ton of football news to really get into, but Blake Franks, another big offensive lineman, 6'5", 310 pounds, out of Greenville, a player that maybe South Carolina fans should be watching in the next 7 to 10 days, maybe, that could make an announcement. And just your thoughts on adding another offensive lineman to a stable that Greg Atkins and Lonnie Teasley seem to really be building. And I know you've mentioned a lot of times, you get as many linemen as you can in there and let them kind of go and see who out of that group turns into your 5 best.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty big recruiting win for Blake Franks. I mean, he's a big, powerful guy. Obviously, if the state of South Carolina did not have 2 elite offensive tackle prospects in Cam Pringle and Josiah Thompson, he'd be the number 1 lineman in the state. Probably could play tackle in a pinch, right tackle, but probably projects better as a guard long term. But that would give South Carolina 2 out of Greenville High School, which is, Carolina's gotten players from there. Nathan Pepper came from there, and Noah Whiteside came from there, and way back when. But it's been a while, since South Carolina's gotten anybody out of Greenville, and so I think that would be another, notch in the belt, so to speak, of in-state recruiting for Shane Beamer and company. And you start looking at it, guys, and they're getting just about everybody they want from the state of South Carolina right now. And we all know that when that happens, good things tend to happen to this program. So I think that'd be another big pickup. Lonnie Teasley, I have a sneaky suspicion he's going to end up being like one of these hires that people look back on and go, wow, that kind of came out of nowhere. That guy's one of the best in the country, just from the way he's recruiting and the way he coaches and all that good stuff. And I've said many times, Lonnie Teasley was not an analyst and working his way up first time, line coach. He was the offensive line coach at North Carolina Central. There are so many great coaches at the HBCU level that for whatever reason, Acebrook is the head coach in Deion Sanders and doesn't get that kind of chance or whatever. Those guys don't advance often, but there's some really great football coaches at that level. And so, Lonnie Teasley, hopefully his success, inspires some coaches to maybe, take a look a little more at that level of football. It's good football, good coaches there, good programs, and guys that can flat out get it done. So hats off to Lonnie Teasley.
JC, we always appreciate the time. Look forward to catching up with you next week, my man. And hopefully you get out baseball. Baseball really is starting. Spring training. A lot of players reporting. A lot of the players, pitchers have already reported. But yeah, we'll get more into that as we roll.
Pitches and catches.
I think today, from what I saw, it's not everybody. I think yesterday and today, players. This weekend, Braves have their first spring training game. We'll get into more of that, but we got to get into roses, buds, and thorns coming up with Preston Thorne. JC, look forward to catching up with you next week, buddy.
Thanks, fellas.
Take care. JC Sherbert, theBigSpur.com. Go and check that out for all your South Carolina recruiting information and other things as well. Good VIP room up there from last night. Roses, buds, and thorns. Preston Thorne recaps the weekend that was. Up next, it's the early game. 107.5 The Game.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia, your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game, a Cumulus media station.
Text and title approved critical 888-411-7640 for details. Do you want a truck? JT's got them at JT's Dodgeland. South Carolina's truck giant is loaded with Rams. New 2022 Bighorn Ram up to $11,000 off. Drive for just $349 a month. New Chargers and Challengers save $5,000 below MSRP. Credit concerns? Other dealers don't have the power of South Carolina's truck giant. JT is the man who says yes. Dodgeland on Greystone, jtsdodge.com. President's Day sales.
Love is in the air.
It's a brand new day.
Birds are singing duets together.
And squirrels are chasing each other across the treetops.
Everyone has a twinkle in their eye.
Boom, chicka boom.
Don't let junk get in the way.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
And you'll be back to your old self again.
We've got magic in our fingertips.
And that's why everyone starts dancing.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
Hey guys, Jay Phillips here for Integrated Media. You know, one of the reasons we all live here in South Carolina is the weather, right? We love being outside as often as we can. And these days, Integrated Media is enhancing that life by installing amazing outdoor home theater systems that give you the best of both worlds. Amazing picture and sound from equipment built to be outside. From completely weatherproof SunBright TVs to Sonos soundbars or in-ground speakers and subwoofers, Integrated Media can completely change how you and your family enjoy time on the deck, patio, or around the pool. Call 803-948-8327. Let Integrated Media come out to your house, see exactly what they can do for you when it comes to an outdoor system. And when you couple it with Integrated Media's professional-grade Wi-Fi, you won't believe the home theater experience is just as good outside. Check out some of their work on Facebook and Instagram. Then call 803-948-8327. Home theater, Wi-Fi that works everywhere, home security, and much more. Do it all better.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use a symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
When you can't stop, there's Vicks VapoRub. Vicks VapoRub sends powerful medicated Vicks vapors right to the source of your, so you can experience cough relief and breathe easier. Generations of families have trusted Vicks VapoRub to help relieve the worst cold symptoms. So next time you have a cough, reach for the Vicks VapoRub. Vicks VapoRub. Cough relieving is believing.
The Carolina Cup races are Saturday, April 1st, presented by Mulligan Law. The 88th running on the Springdale Racecourse, set on 600 pristine acres under the beautiful pines and blue skies in Camden, South Carolina. Nothing rivals this grand tradition in steeplechase racing. A family fun event you do not want to miss. The best tailgating, shopping, food, and unique entertainment for everyone, including the True Vista Kids Zone. Get your tickets now at carolinacup.org. It is where spring begins.
What we're talking about on 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by the power of Love Chevrolet, Tahoe, Silverado, Suburban, Colorado. If your dreams for the new year include cruising around town in your brand new Chevy, look no further than South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer. Love Chevy, I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Find new roads. The early game
With Bill Gunter and Jen Jensen.
You will not see me watching anything that's really scary or might make me cry, because I figure there's nothing in life that can make me cry. So I'm more of the Tommy Boy, Austin Powers, like if it's that kind of silly, dumb.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
Shawshank is uplifting at the end, but it takes you through it for
sure. Yeah, I don't want to get that emotion. I have the emotional roller coaster working with Bill in the morning. So yeah, I need a release.
3 days in, you see where this program's going.
On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
This is an uplifting. I do like this little beat.
And I've completely blanked. Chainsmokers, closer. A very uplifting beat. One maybe not you would use for roses, buds, and thorns.
Is that what we're calling it, though?
We got to get it right. Thorns, buds, and roses.
Yeah, okay, yeah. All
I've already told
because my last
Terry.
name is Thorn.
It got to lead with you.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, it also makes sense to start with the negative.
That's right. We want to start with the negative. We want to move it out.
So we'll get
So it's thorns, buds, and roses.
All
Because
right.
that way we end on a high note.
That's right. So we're going
Thorns and go down and then up.
We're going to get to that in just a second. Preston's ready. It's his own personal weekend observations. He had 3 days worth of observations. Normally we would do this on a Monday. Instead, we're going to start doing it. It's a Tuesday. We'll do it every Monday, typically at 8 a.m. So we'll get Preston to do that. Real quick, though, if you hear anything that Preston's about to say, 803-404-6100. You can weigh in on his thoughts. He'll even offer you a chance to offer your own thorns, buds, or roses at the very end. Again, we've talked a lot about basketball. Big wins for both teams there. Baseball was fantastic this weekend. Nobody knows what happened in the XFL, but we do know that Preston lost 2 of his 3 picks and will be spinning the wheel of agony here in just a short while.
My defenders.
Yeah, they let you down. That was a tough break. That was a very tough break. We'll get more into that coming up. But now it is time for a segment that we are working with. We're massaging. We're building. It is the second edition of Thorns, Buds, and Roses with Preston Thorn.
Yes, sir, Bill. This is the second edition. You know, the greatest improvement of every team is from week 1 to week 2. So here we go. This is the second edition of Preston's Thorns, Buds, and Roses. First off, I want to give a thorn to whoever that one voter was that decided that our women were not going to be unanimously ranked number 1. Who are you? Show yourself, you coward. But besides that, I want to make sure I give us thorns to all you olds who keep saying that the dunk contest is not like it used to be. Get over it. Dominique Wilkins is not coming back. Michael Jordan just had a birthday. Bill, do you know how old he just turned?
60.
He's 60 years old. AARP is collision course with Michael Jordan very shortly.
10 years younger than my father, who just turned 70 on Sunday. How about that?
Exactly. So if you're pining for the days of Michael Jordan, he's not going to be dunking anytime soon. And besides that, the greatest dunk contest was in 2016 with Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine. That was 2016. Dwight Howard jumped over a car in 2011. Blake was in 2008. All of these things have happened previously before. These guys are getting old. But speaking of old, did anybody see Dr. J?
No, I didn't.
He's a stud,
watch,
man.
Yeah.
He's a beautiful man. Nice hair, gray hair, had a wonderful suit on. Anyway, we cannot let this moment pass without letting us acknowledge the fact that the dunk contest this year was won by Mac McClure, a 6'2" white man who did a 540, Bill.
I saw the highlights. I did see the highlights.
Did you even know that you could do a 540?
Well, I know I can't do a 540. I would suspect that somebody out there is fully capable of it.
540s are greater than 360, which back in my day was as far as anybody could ever do. So if anybody's out there complaining about the dunk contest, get over it. Get a life. It's not for you. It's for the young kids. It's for people to do amazing dunks. They're not doing those silly reverse dunks. If you remember back in our day when they had the dunk contest, we made a big deal out of some dude pumping up his shoes to get air into them.
Do you know who that was?
D. Brown.
There you go.
He also repeated the next year by doing a quote-unquote no-look dunk. He wouldn't even compete in today's contest. So shout out to Matt McClure. You are our honored cement status for winning the dunk contest. Buds, Coach Paris, something might be brewing.
Okay.
There might be something growing. There's some home problems that we're having, but every time we go out on the road, we seem to play very well. Is Coach Paris trying to lobby covertly for a basketball-only arena in Columbia? Is that what he's doing? He's saying, hey, when I go and travel to all these other programs, they have these basketball-only arenas. We play well. When we come back to this cave known as the CLA, it doesn't work very well for us.
Interesting.
There's something growing. We saw Gigi smiling. Michi Johnson was hitting three-pointers. Those are some buds. And finally, Bill, let's give out some roses. Mark Kingston, sir, you get a bouquet of 49 garnet roses.
Right?
Bill, do you know why we're giving them 49, sir?
49 runs scored.
49 runs scored. That's right. And we appreciate you. We here at the early game and everyone at 107.5, we really do appreciate you going out there and taking care of business so that we did not have to have texts like Derek who wanted you fired after the third inning of the first game of the
middle
season.
middle third.
Top of the third.
That text
He
must have
wanted
made
you-
its way to the dugout because then they took off for 3 runs and never trailed again. The
He
rest of the
wanted you
weekend.
taken out of here. So we scored all those runs, and we just wanted to sincerely thank you for taking care of business so that we did not have to have the discussion about whether or not the Gamecock program was going to be on the right path after dropping one to UMass. Now, Sir Kingston, we're going to need you to take care of the rest of the midweek games. Also, Clemson, maybe go to semis, go to Omaha, and we will keep giving you roses for the rest of the week. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's our second edition of Thorns, Buds, and Roses. If you have any comments, if you would like to comment, or if you had any Thorns, Buds, and Roses that you had over the weekend, please let us know. Bill, it's all yours, sir.
Pretty solid second edition.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty solid. Lynn weighs in with a thorn on our live stream. Boo-hoo. The ladies do it in the CLA. Sounds like an excuse to me for Paris.
Mm-hmm.
That arena is a hot topic. It really is. When it comes to basketball played in there, I'm not a huge fan of it. It is a good arena when it's packed out. The LSU game for the women a few weeks ago. But by and large, I've been to Auburn and seen their arena. It's really, really impressive. It's a smaller venue, 9,000 seats, I believe. There's some suites and some seating amenities in there, a great student section. Mississippi just built a smaller arena. The Colonial Life Arena is it's a polarizing topic when it comes to basketball. I'm not even 100% sure I'm thrilled with it as a concert venue. You've been to?
I've been to several conferences there.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure that it's a great concert. The acoustics and everything in there,
it's just big.
It's big. Yeah, it really is an interesting topic, and Lamont talks about that. I get where he's coming from. Basketball is the one thing where I'm not sure if bigger is better, right? Like, it's 6:30 games now. The women, I don't think they have 6:30 tip-offs on Thursday nights for SEC basketball. I think most of them are at 7. And I get it. Those 30 extra minutes early, especially if you got kids or if you're trying to travel in from Charleston or Greenville and you want to catch a good game, that's difficult. We saw that last week on a Tuesday night. I know it was Valentine's Day, Preston, and not everybody wanted to treat their significant other to the to a South Carolina Vanderbilt Tuesday night basketball game.
Nothing says love like a midweek.
No, it says love. If you were a significant other and the love of your life wanted you to take you and you went, you were telling them, honey, I really, really do love you. I like it. But I don't look. Joe says BS excuse, just win and the CLA will be packed out. I look, even when it's packed, I'm not thrilled with it as an arena when it's packed. This has nothing to do with. They're right. South Carolina fans are bandwagon basketball fans. Joe's right. Lynn's right. If you win, yeah, the fans will come. I've seen that. If you win, you better win. They're not coming to watch the product that they've seen the last 45 years by and large.
But here's where Coach Paris is using his big brain. Guess where they play the SEC tournament? On the road. See? So when they go on the road to play all these other games, they won't be playing at home.
It's true.
They're just preparing for the tournament.
It's good. It's good. Yeah. Nashville this year, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's Nashville.
Wherever. Road Warriors.
Bridgestone Arena, which is the high. It's where they have the Predators hockey up there, and it's right downtown. I'll again defend the SEC basketball tournament, especially in Nashville. One of the best sporting events you can go to. There's nothing like it when you go up there and you get all those fans from different teams that come together. It's different than a bowl game, and it's a big party. And I've been to 2 or 3 SEC basketball tournaments, and I've been to 2 of them, I think, in Nashville. It really is a great experience. Like, Heath Klein's going this year. I don't know if we can hop on the Heath Klein jet with him, like just when we see him tomorrow.
Can we totally have him wear like a GoPro and just see how he experiences it? Would that not be incredible?
I've seen Heath. I can just venture a guess from seeing Heath at media days and at these different events. Can
you see the GoPro like moving like to the rhythm and stuff, like you see him kind of dancing, or his, oh my gosh,
XFL footballer Heath GoPro video is going to be about the same. Like, it's,
you never know. There's a closet wild man there that we just don't know about.
803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in on any of that is how you can weigh in. Preston Thorn's second edition of Thorns, Buds, and Roses.
It will be on the podcast page very soon.
Biggest improvement from week 2, Bill.
I like the
We're getting better.
The dunk contest was you have an interesting take on that. I was kind of blown away with that. I forgot about that from this weekend. There you go.
I mean, we cannot be a society that lets the moment pass where a 6'2" white man wins the dunk contest and we just don't acknowledge it.
We don't acknowledge it. He played in only 2 NBA games, by the way.
Played 2 games, and he came in and won
with little problem whatsoever
by doing a 580.
3 of the 4 dunks, scoring a perfect score of 50. Very impressive for that. I got to admit, another thing on Friday, I tried to get a little bit into the NBA All-Star game. It's quickly becoming a awful product.
What's worse, Pro Bowl, All-Star game?
It's still the Pro Bowl, or was the Pro Bowl when they had it. The NBA All-Star game, though, look, I get it. I really, truly, honestly do get it. And some of it is, I think, for the younger generation better, where you see the alley-oops. And there's no defense played. Like, there's none. And I get it because, again, you don't want to injure yourself. Like, you don't want to go down with a twisted ankle in the All-Star game. I grasp it. But you got to, I mean, even in the 90s, there was a level of competition there that now it literally looks like just a pickup game with no defense. It's different than what I remember it being, and it seems to almost evolve or take a step backwards, I guess. Not evolve, but it seems to, I was going to say, evolve into more and more of just like, we're just going to stay on the offensive side. Y'all stay on your offensive side, and we'll just pass the ball down to you to do some highlight dunk or 3-point. Like, I feel like that's just what it's going to be. Both teams are going to stay on their side of the court. Somebody's going to try an alley-oop. Doesn't work. They'll lay it in. Then they'll flip it down to Team LeBron for their own alley-oop or whatever. Like, I feel like that's where we're heading.
Listen, man, pre-game, when you saw the Post Malone concert, if you automatically tuned out, then the rest of the game wasn't going to be for you. You know, like, if you were waiting for Run DMC or somebody like that, it's just not. We are all moving forward. I don't love it, but I would imagine when you look at that game through young people's eyes, that's sort of the thing that
I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure the younger generation get it, because it's just there's really getting to be nothing there.
Did you see when Kyrie tried to throw Jokic?
No, because I literally watched for like 2 minutes and was just like, this is a bad product.
Yeah, they have to figure something out with that.
Yeah, 803-404-6100. That was the second installment of Preston Thorns, Buds, and Roses. We will catch up with Brian Edwards next. He wants to weigh in on actual basketball games, some SEC games tonight and tomorrow night. Give you a couple picks for that. We'll get into that. Preston Thorn has got to spin the wheel of agony over here. I'm working on this zoo thing right now. My contact is not at the zoo anymore, but I'm working on this as we speak to see. I did like Jen's idea of live streaming, one of us having to clean out the elephant
dung
pen, or it's something. We'll figure it out. We'll see if we can get connected with Riverbank Zoo on that. 803-404-6100. And Jen, because he texted me, I have to give a shout out. Reggie Anderson winning our Corley Pool Solutions NASCAR Pick'em.
Yeah, we're getting a new name for that one too. So we're going to be so organized and fantastic before this is all done. But yes, shout out to Reggie picking the winner.
Unbelievable.
And Preston.
And Preston came in second.
Preston came in second, yeah.
It just goes to show that you don't have to know what you're doing to win. Because look at Bill. He's won the contest a couple times. And especially Daytona, such a crapshoot. But congratulations. Way to get started, Preston. I'm impressed.
We're off to a hot start.
Absolutely.
Reggie wins again.
I know. I love it.
803-404-6100. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Got a take? Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line.
Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen.
803-404-6100.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by TaxSlayer. Start filing for free today at TaxSlayer.com. Major League Baseball and the NBA are quietly active on the labor front. Team Manfred has just created an economic reform committee that could try to revive the salary cap issue, while March 31st looms as the NBA's collective bargaining agreement deadline. I'm Boomer Esiason.
Getting your guaranteed maximum refund with TaxSlayer feels like saddling up and chasing down.
Look at that sweet moolah!
That big old cash cow.
Look at all that money!
File for free with TaxSlayer Simply Free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. When you're at your best, you can do great things. Working with a therapist can help you get closer to the best version of yourself. Because when you feel empowered, you're more ready for life's challenges. BetterHelp is a great therapy option. It's flexible, affordable, entirely online, and it matches you with a licensed therapist. Let therapy help empower you. Visit betterhelp.com/tryit to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/tryit.
Sponsored by South Carolina Education Lottery. There's plenty of gold to go around.
This blows me away. Why are there no elephants? Is it really a zoo if there's no elephants? But he says, but the rhinos will work just as well. Oh, okay.
Rhinos are scary. Even though I guess they're not more scary than elephants, rhinos have a bad PR team.
Well, I think they're a little more aggressive than elephants. So I guess.
After Pioneer Tree Service, you got to do your export flag.
Yeah.
First question.
Yes. What that coming up?
Yeah, I'll count you. I'll talk to you and say definitely. This is the spot now. So, and I'm calling Brian Edwards, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Tree trimming and tree removal can be dangerous. You need to trust people that are doing the job.
Hippos have the bad attitude, is what York says.
Cutting down trees takes more than a chainsaw. Even branches can weigh thousands.
Oh, hippos with the bad attitude. Okay.
Bucket trucks to safely remove trees, stumps from your property. And no matter where you live, the Gantt girls can get there. I want you to call them at 803-794-8277.
He sent me a list of games. If there's anything you hear, what?
Yeah, again, this is Preston back with Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. If your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. They'll come to you and they give you a free quote for any job. Cracked windshields, no problem. They'll come to your location and they'll replace it for you, usually for free. And they'll work directly with your insurance to take away the headache. If you're looking to increase the value of your home with new windows or mirrors, Absolute Glass will come out and take care of all of that for you. Windows, mirrors, showers, enclosures. As you hear me say all the time, if you can see through it, Ray and Marianne, the Absolute Glass can do it. Check them out online at absoluteglassinc.com. That's online at absoluteglassinc.com.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply. WIST
Wow.
First Alert Traffic.
That's why I like Brian. He's got some stats this morning. You hear anything? Yeah.
Have you accidents out there to let you know? We're still working that earlier time. I-26 eastbound at exit 85 coming in.
He's bringing the stats this morning. Okay.
The right lane is blocked and a half is blocked. You can find an alternate route. Highway 6 at I-20, we have a report of an accident there. And also we have the tie-up I-20 westbound at Fairfield Road, Kellyville Road at Bond Rain Road, Converse Road at Neely Wingard Road, and disabled vehicle might Roger
There you go. Look at that. By the numbers. Leah Boston, 77, third most in SEC.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 1075 The Game. Shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. With Bill Bender, Preston Thorne, and Shan Jensen on your home of the Gamecock. 107.
Give it. Just going to give it away another pair of tickets here. Okay. $8:23 on what's turning into a very beautiful Columbia morning. Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen. We'll be joined by Brian Edwards of VegasInsider.com in just a second. But let's give you a chance right now. Caller number 4. 803-404-6100 can win a pair of tickets to today's baseball matchup over at Founders Park. 3:45 pregame right here on 107.5 The Game. 4 p.m. first pitch. Caller number 4 will win a pair of tickets to today's matchup against Winthrop. Gamecocks look to go 4-0 on the season and stay hot at the plate. So caller number 4 right now, if you can figure out a way to take off early, you can get yourself a pair of tickets. Maybe all of a sudden at work you're becoming sick as I say this out loud. You're telling the boss, might have to go home early, boss. Might have to have an early lunch. Caller number 4, 803-404-6100. Out to the Love Chevy phone lines we go. Joined now by Brian Edwards of VegasInsider.com as we count down to the very end here of college basketball season. And Brian, I'll jump right into it. You coming out of it's not Monday, it's Tuesday. So we had some games last night. Illinois and Minnesota stood out. Duke and Louisville took place. But really coming out of the weekend as we hit the final stretch, you've got a couple teams here that stand out to you that you think you're getting good odds that have a shot to win it all, that could win the national championship in a very parity-stricken college basketball season.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a wide-open tournament this year, and I see 3 teams. These are numbers that are still available at FanDuel, or at least they were about an hour ago. I think UConn at 30-1 is worth a shot, along with Miami at 50-1 and Providence at 100-1. UConn was the best team in the country in November and December. Then they went through a 5-week slump. I mean, there wasn't a lot of shameful losses except for the home one to St. John's. I mean, losing at Marquette, losing at Xavier, etc. Those weren't shameful losses, but they just, they went from looking like the best team in the country to just, kind of a slump for 5 weeks. They got it, back seemingly 2 weeks ago as they blew out a red-hot Marquette team at home. Then they lost by 3 at Creighton. No shame in that. And then they beat Seton Hall at home. So I think 30-1 is good value for them. Again, in November, December, in that game against Marquette 2 weeks ago, or not even 2 weeks ago, they, looked like, perhaps the best team in the country, and maybe they can get it back. Miami at 50-1. They went to the Elite Eight last year. They've added some key transfers. Nigel Pack from K-State, the big guy that transferred in from Arkansas State, almost averaging a double-double. And then Providence at 100-1. Providence is just playing really good basketball right now. In fact, they are 15-4, but straight up and against the spread in their last 19. And when you have 100-1 type of number, if they just get to the Sweet 16, you can start hedging and ensure making a profit.
Couple there again that Brian points out. If you want to check that, he says FanDuel.com, but certainly UConn 30-1, Miami 50-1, and Providence, where Devin Carter, former Gamecock, now at 100-1. Let's get into a couple games that you're in favor of tonight. A top 25 showdown. Texas A&M, saw them a couple weeks ago here at Colonial Life Arena. They blew out South Carolina. Tennessee had done the same a game before, and Texas A&M tonight laying some points against number 11 Tennessee, but Texas A&M, the home team. I've been a big fan of home teams, Preston, Jamie, Brian. That to me is a big one tonight. A&M hosting Tennessee, and you like one side of that.
Yeah, A&M -1 or 1.5 The Aggies are 20-7 straight up, 18-9 against the spread. They've won 5 in a row, both straight up and against the spread. They're 13-1 straight up, 10-4 ATS in 14 home games this year, whereas Tennessee is only 4-4 straight up, 3-5 ATS in 8 road games. Buzz Williams' team is 14-2 since December 27th. They are 11-4 against the spread in their last 15. The Vols have lost 4 of their last 6, going 1-5 against the spread. Now, in their defense, they've been missing a couple of key players. Josiah Jordan-James has missed 3 in a row. Julian Phillips, who many mock drafts have as a projected first-round pick in the 2023 NBA draft, he's missed back-to-back games with a hip issue. James averages 9.5 points, 5.3 rebounds, and Phillips averages 9 points and 4.8 rebounds, and both of them are game-time decisions tonight. So I'm on A&M regardless, but if Josiah Jordan-James and Phillips are downgraded to out, I like the Aggies even more.
He's Brian Edwards. Make sure you follow him on Twitter. Vegas B. Edwards is the way to do that. You can also check out his work, VegasInsider.com and MajorWager.com as well. Another game you like, that is tonight, 8 p.m., out in Tulsa, Oklahoma, East Carolina versus Tulsa. And I was looking at what you sent me. You got some interesting numbers on Tulsa, who is the worst against the spread team in the country.
Yeah, and then that's all we're doing here is we're fading Tulsa. East Carolina is not very good, but they are better than Tulsa. Their ECU is 13-3. Or I'm sorry, 13-13 straight up, 15-11 against the spread, and they've won 2 of their last 3. But we're just fading Tulsa here. Tulsa's 5-21 straight up, 3-21-2 ATS, and they are 4-8 straight up and 1-9-2 against the spread in 12 home games. And the Golden Hurricane have lost 8 games in a row, 0-7-1 ATS in that stretch. Their last 4 losses have been by 23, 27, 44, and 38. And then the 4 losses prior to that were by 11, 26, 12, and 10. And the 23-point loss at Temple on Sunday, Temple was without its leading scorer in that game and still won by 23. So I will go with East Carolina, which beat Tulsa by 10 at home several weeks ago.
Yes, those are bad numbers for Tulsa. Again, 3-21-2 against the spread, and certainly not the way you like to be having your season going. 2 questions before we let you out here. One of them serious, one of them not so. Let's start with tomorrow night, Wednesday night. Gamecocks in Alabama, you're kind of projecting ahead, but you got some numbers on this one. Where are you kind of leaning? South Carolina, Alabama. Alabama now number 2 in the country, and they come to Colonial Life Arena.
Yeah, so Alabama has just been smashing teams, and I think they're probably going to be at least 18 tomorrow. I know that's a huge number for a road game in SEC play, but that's just Alabama's just been killing teams, and not just, they've been killing good teams. But anywho, I'll just point out that South Carolina in their last 7 is 5-2 against the spread. They've covered 3 in a row as a double-digit dog. And for the year, they are 6-3 against the spread with 1 outright win as a double-digit dog. Now, 2 of their outright losses as a double-digit dog, they lost in overtime. So South Carolina has been pretty good as a double-digit dog. I'm not saying I'm interested in either team. It's probably going to be a pass. Now, if it was more than 20, perhaps I'd think about South Carolina. But yeah, Alabama will be a huge favorite tomorrow.
And before I let you out, Preston had a rough weekend. Went 2-3 in his XFL picks. Brian, we need some XFL advice. How much are we studying? We got a big Thursday night contest coming up. Big Thursday night. It is the St. Louis Battlehawks against the Seattle Sea Dragons. And then actually on Saturday, Preston's 2 teams, the 2 that he pulls for the most, the Defenders, DC Defenders, and the Vegas Vipers hook up 7 p.m. That game's on FX for those of you out there who need something on Saturday night. What can you share with us about XFL wagering? I don't even know the spreads for these games just yet. I am just seeing what your array of knowledge, how can you help Preston with XFL picks?
Well, I didn't watch any this past weekend. I did read a recap and, saw some, familiar names, A.J. McCarron, etc. But man, he's more on top of it than me. I'm not ruling out perhaps getting interested in it in the coming weeks, but I really got nothing to add right now.
Well, Jamie, my only requirement for picking teams was that they had alliteration. So
yeah,
it was the DC Defenders and the Vegas Vipers. And I just learned I got to put the Seattle Sea Dragons in that mix.
Okay,
also.
there's only 8 teams. You can't take all 8 teams.
There's 3 of them.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, there you go, Brian. We're trying to learn these teams. XFL, like you said, the elusive hunt for an XFL expert continues. We've tried Brian Edwards, who may get into it. JC Sherbert had no clue. We have no clue. We will continue the elusive hunt. Brian, we always appreciate your time again tonight. You like Texas A&M and you like East Carolina. Just to recap, if you want to go out and take some futures, Brian is all in or taking a chance. He likes the number, right? Correct me. Don't let me put words in your mouth. You like the number right now that you can get on Miami, on Connecticut, and on and on Providence in terms of winning the national championship. And then tomorrow night, you were just kind of giving some numbers. South Carolina, as you said, in their last 7 games, 5-2 against the spread. I always appreciate your time, buddy.
Yep, correct on all that. Also like Miami +2 and Kansas State +2 tonight. And appreciate it, Gunner. Y'all have a great week, man.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
yes,
I apologize. I had missed those from earlier. Yeah, Miami on the road against Virginia Tech tonight, +2, and Kansas State at home against Baylor. So a lot of good stuff there from Brian Edwards. We'll come back, start the countdown to spinning the wheel of agony because, again, we're on a hunt now to help Preston and maybe myself with XFL knowledge. Is there anyone out there?
I might have found myself a little niche in the market.
Yeah. We get Patrick Perrette back on at some point to talk. Nothing like you covering the XFL like no one else, and the coverage we get from Patrick Perrette. You're listening to The Early Game on 107.5 The Game.
Have you missed any of the early game?
You can catch up by going to the Early Game on demand page at 1075thegame.com.
Or by downloading our 1075 The Game app on iTunes or Google Play.
Sponsored by Lexington Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. If you're dealing with injuries or pain, our team is here to get you better sooner.
At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we know how serious injuries change people's lives. I'm Jason Reynolds. When you're involved in a major car or truck accident, my team is on your side. You don't have to be alone. Let's do this together.
And I'm Stephen Samuels. When you're hurt at work, my team is with you from start to finish. We're people with a passion for helping injured workers. Bring your case to us and stop the worrying. We've got this.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 803-779-4000.
Run the Cup. Lexington Medical Center's Governor's Cup Road Race will celebrate its 50th anniversary on April 7th and 8th. South Carolina's annual running festival starts Friday, April 7th with an expo and a Main Street Mile, open to all running levels. There's also a free Main Street Mile for kids on Friday. On Saturday, April 8th, choose from a half marathon, 5K run, or 5K walk. Don't miss the fun of the finish area with music, food, and activities before the awards and post-race celebration. For more information or to register, visit governorscupsc.org.
It's time to contact AAA Heating and Air and tell them Bill Gunner sent you. That's right, 803-677-1500. If you're in need of repairs or maintenance to your heating and air system, contact AAA Heating and Air today. Again, 803-677-1500. You know you are putting comfort in your own hands with qualified technicians from AAA Heating and Air. So don't wait any longer. Contact them today, 803-677-1500. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone, America's #1 brakes destination. We have the pads, rotors, drums, shoes, and brake fluids to improve your stopping power. Right now, save 15% when you get any 2 Duralast rotors with a set of Duralast brake pads. Missing a tool? Ask about our free Loan-A-Tool program and borrow the tools you need to get the job done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the MPD Group 2021. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool.
One search engine is used by 9 out of 10 consumers. Hint, the name begins with a G. And there are hundreds of things that go into being ranked highly by that engine. Your website, your business profile, even your social accounts. A couple of slip-ups and you find yourself on page 7. But at Cumulus Boost, we have the experts and resources to fix what's wrong and boost your findability so you can rank higher than your competition. Get started today at cumulusboost.com. CUMULUS boost.com.
Washington led the revolution.
Lincoln saved the nation. Now, Galliana Kia is making history with the best deals in years.
Gotta go to Galliana.
America loves a great deal, and Galliana Kia delivers new Kias with zip, zero, nothing down, and zero payments for the next 3 months. Plus, at Galliana Kia, we'll get you out of your current lease or loan, even if you're over mileage, have months left, or still owe thousands. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. If you've got a job and you make at least $2,000 per month, our lenders can get you approved. Don't make a car buying mistake. If you want a great deal without the hassle,
Gotta go to Galliana.
Galliana Kia on Greystone, I-126 Zoo Exit in Columbia. Call 779-7300 or KiaColumbia.com. Rio stock number 3K1107, $278 per month for 84 months at 6.9 APR. Price plus tax tag includes $225 closing fee. Negative trade equity financed in new loans subject to lender approval. Expires month end.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Haley, quote, Navage is the best thing I bought. I love it. My nose feels so clear now and I can breathe. I've been struggling with a stuffy nose for weeks. I bought Navage and it's amazing. Or this one. I use Navage every night, could not imagine life without it. I have 5 cats, and before I found Navage, I was a clogged mess. Now I breathe so much better, unquote. Those are 2 of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
1075 The Game traffic. Sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
Still working that earlier tie-up, that hazmat spill where the right lane was blocked. That's I-26 eastbound there at exit 85. So still getting that cleaned up, but slowdowns continue. I-26 eastbound there at exit 82, also a tie-up. We're looking at Peoples Street at Monticello Road where there's a car versus deer incident. Have an accident, Pond Branch Road at Neely Wingard Road, and River Pond Road at Longtown Road. We have an accident there as well. So be careful out there this morning if you would. Could see a stray shower, but certainly no washouts today. 78 for the high, 81 tomorrow, 84 on Thursday. Yeah, 63 right now at 107.5 The Game.
What we're talking about on 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
Coming up next segment, and Jen's going to record it and put it out. Preston Thorne will officially spin the wheel of agony. Now, we appreciate all the input this morning, and this has led us down a path off air, but I'm prepared now, I think, to have this conversation. One of the spots is still open. I'm efforting to create a situation in which we have to go out to Riverbank Zoo. Either they bring an animal in here. Not sure how management's going to feel about that, but we do an early show. Most of management does not arrive by 9 a.m. I'm either going to bring an animal in from Riverbank Zoo. Somebody suggested holding a tarantula. Somebody else has suggested we'd have to clean out the elephant pen. It has been brought to my attention, and I don't know if this is true or not. Again, a lot of effort is going to go into this extra space that is still open on working with the zoo over there. But somebody brought to my attention there are no more elephants at Riverbank Zoo, to which then Joel on our live stream said rhinos will work just as well. Preston had a hot take on that and said rhinos have a bad PR team.
Yeah, rhinos, I don't know if they're as scary as they've been made out to be.
To which York responded, hippos have the bad attitude.
I do know hippos are mean.
803-40.
But they have a good PR team, right? They
do they?
I mean, you get the hungry hippos.
Yeah, but that was a fun game.
Yeah.
803-404-6100. Who has the worst attitude, rhinos or hippos?
See, I think
just one word: rhinos or hippos. Who has the worst attitude? Would you rather? Yeah, rhinos or hippos. 803-404-6100. Just weigh in on the text line. Rhinos or hippos. It'll confuse.
Rhinos need to do some rebranding.
Okay. Maybe you could volunteer for that marketing team. I think that'd be great. So then the rhinos could be budding and be part of your thorns, buds, and roses. You could get them to where they're budding.
Hippos do have a reputation as being very angry, although kind of lovable, right?
They're not though.
Because don't they like to be in like splashing in water or something?
Yeah, they seem like they're lovable, friendly.
This is all part of the propaganda. Those things
The
are
hippo
vicious.
propaganda.
Yes,
Wow.
they are vicious.
I
They
can't
hurt people.
I can't read this text, but hippos are aggressive as bleep.
Okay.
Okay. It sounds like a personal experience there, and he follows that up with another bleep word, which they'll run a bleeper down.
Well,
Hippos-
there you go.
That's what I'm saying.
Anonymous texter: hippos are the deadliest land animal in Africa.
See, Preston, I think we're finding he's very, very intelligent, and he's kind of a Renaissance man. He knows a lot of things about a lot of things.
Mark says hippos kill more humans than any other animal. Let's say, yeah. I mean, if several of you
And see what Big Hippo did was they created
Big Hippo?
Big Hippo created Hungry Hungry Hippo when you was a child, so you could play with that game. And it's like, oh, these are cute, but really they're actually eating things.
isn't in Madagascar at the whole Madagascar in the female hippo, isn't that right?
See,
that
I
dates
think
Ross with a giraffe.
Could be.
Is that
They
is
also
that-
had.
I'm not
I
going to stick
believe,
my neck out and
I
say
believe
I know.
I believe in Sing 2. The woman was a hippo and she sang so beautifully.
Oh, and didn't she wear a tutu?
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
See what they're trying to do?
Hopkins Elementary in Lower Richland area. The mascot is the hippos.
We need to change that.
Is
I
there
don't want
any
my
is
child
there any
going-
mascot with the rhinos?
See, we can't have a elementary school that's wholesome place of learning be named after the most dangerous land animal on the continent of Africa.
Chad from Irmo. Hippos are serial killer land manatees.
And they
Oh
can
my.
swim. What are we
So
doing
they're a
with these
threat
things?
on land and in the water.
Yes.
Wow. Dual threat.
The original dual threats.
Yeah. So Perry Orth could have been a rhino, right? Wasn't
Jo-
he dual threat?
Josh weighs in. Zebras are very mean. I watched a documentary one time, and a guy on it said one reason farming isn't better in Africa. Ever try to use a zebra for plowing? Good luck. Brandon says the Gaston College rhinos. Okay, yeah, that's
Look at us.
Jeez. Several y'all 803-404-6100.
See, we all know that hippos are out there committing these atrocities, yet we are still willing to say that they're lovable and all this. Get them out of here.
Is there a good cartoon with a friendly rhino?
Bowser from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, he was a rhino, but he was a bad guy.
Oh,
Wait a minute, but I mean that's what I'm saying. Is there a
Bowser
friendly
and Blitz?
Is there a friendly rhino anywhere out there?
That's what I'm saying.
So to your point, as we wrap up this and get ready to spin the wheel of agony, the rhino does have a bad PR team. The rhino does not get the hippos, very friendly, very lovable. Yet hippos, clearly, as many of y'all have weighed in, the text line has exploded as you would expect. Robert says, I would think rhinos would be meaner. They are named for sinus headaches. You know medical terms? No, no, I don't. Columbia rugby team are the rhinos. Okay, there's that. There you go. So, yeah, all right. Yeah, we're all in. So hippos. We don't want to deal with hippos. We'd rather deal with rhinos at the Riverbank Zoo.
Yes, because as the texter said, hippos will run a bleeper down.
As Preston has pointed out, Big Hippo is just doing a good job of promoting the hippos.
Big Hippo. Watch out for him.
803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game. Official sponsor of making rhinos.
You didn't know Bowser was a rhino.
I don't even know what Bowser technically. I know Bowser from Mario Brothers.
I was going to say, I was thinking
yeah,
Bowser the rhino.
But I'm pretty sure that's like a giant turtle.
I thought that was a dinosaur. Wasn't that Bowser?
No. We'll get to the bottom of all this, and Preston Thorne will spin the wheel of agony. It's going to be a wild final
Rocksteady
segment.
and Bebop. I'm sorry, I had to search my millennial brain. It was Rocksteady and Bebop who were the villains in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm sorry.
That explains what just popped up from Matt C. He said Rocksteady and Bebop. Come on, Thorny.
My bad. It's my bad.
Bebop and Rocksteady. I didn't know
go.
what that text was, so I wasn't going to read it, but it makes sense now.
Matt C, I appreciate you on the correction. Thank you for listening. Rocksteady and Bebop.
Rhino in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was Rocksteady. Okay, there's that.
There we go.
A lot happening in that segment. We'll come back and we will wrap it up. Preston Thorne will spin the wheel of agony. We'll continue to offer support for the rhinos to be a more cuddly animal.
They are a cuddly animal. We need to get them on board with the commercial machine behind them.
There's a lot happening here. 803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Got something to say?
Ring us up on the Love Chevy phone line. South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer.
At 803-404-6100.
Your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Brakes for Less.
Brakes for Less is what we do. We know drums, rotors, pads, and shoes. It doesn't matter what kind of car you got. Call 888-261-STOP. All we do are Brakes for Less.
Winter is here, and is your old gas furnace just not keeping up with winter this year? Don't worry. AAA Heating and Air has got you taken care of. Give them a phone call today, 803-677-1500. You need to tell them Bill Gunner sent you. You can get a free estimate and discounts on qualifying furnace systems. That's right, 803-677-1500. Call AAA Heating and Air today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring sergeants and lieutenants statewide. If you have correctional, security, military, or police experience, you can join SCDC as a sergeant or lieutenant. There's $7,500 sign-on bonuses, increased pay, and great employee benefits available. Start your new year off with a new career. Visit joinscdc.com to apply today or call 803-734-JOBS for more information.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing. And for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
No one likes to talk about the injuries, pain, disability, and lost loved ones that result from terrible car and tractor-trailer accidents. I'm Jason Reynolds. At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we're on.
If Preston hits karaoke, the song he has to karaoke outside is "I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas."
I'd have to learn that one. Don't know that one by heart.
We're experts at boosting the online presence for businesses of every type. We make sure potential customers can easily find you and really like what they find. Your website, online listings, consumer reviews, and more. Cumulus Boost, online at cumulusboost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
107.5 The Game traffic. Sponsored by South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000.
On Gervais today?
Yes, it's a. Here. Right now, I want a hippopotamus for Christmas song is wedged in my mind.
Broadcasting live from the Heritage Chevrolet Studios. This is 1075 The Game.
When Ace Ventura used it, came out of the rhino's rear end.
With Bill Gunter, our Gamecock Preston Thorne, and Shin Jets upon your home and gaming device.
We are about to officially. This is really another big step for Preston. Really becoming a member, a team, a family of the early game. He, for the first time ever, gets to spin the wheel of agony. Kendall Smith is outside. She is pulling for bar 3.
Yeah.
She wants the bar 3. We'll see how this works. So we got our wheel of agony. Preston lost because we are now in a hunt. We are in a full-on search for an XFL expert because what has happened here, Preston went 1-2 in his picks. I went 2-1. Now Preston picked 2 of the games. I picked 1. So now he's going to spin the wheel of agony. Now on this wheel, we have bar 3 with Jen, to which Kendall Smith is pulling heavily for, and Jen I think is pulling heavily for, or Jen saving it for me. We've got a free pass. There is a free pass on there, to which Preston gets out. There is the loser's choice, which Preston gets to then pick what he wants out of this. He will have to. There's a walk the state house pick. Intern for a day. He would be our intern, and we would have to have the money for that. Like we have to. I know an intern doesn't get paid, but we're not going to like send him to get coffee in the middle of the show with his own money. That would seem a little unfair. Right now, defend the soccer goal. Tony Annan or one of his players would kick at Preston in a soccer goal.
Don't want that.
Brian's Pizza is Brian Glenn makes a spicy pizza and brings it.
That's best case scenario.
Best case, yep. Karaoke outside. Hope on our live stream, or excuse me, DC says if that's the case, Preston has to go out and sing "I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas" on air. Yes, that would be a good one. Musical instrument is on there. I just realized we have another free pass on there, so 2 of the choices. Bill run the board is not one. Preston would have to run the board. That seems like a punishment for me. The live streamer's choice and winner's choice, I would get to pick what we want Preston to do. So, all right, here we go. The first official spinning of the wheel. It must go all the way around, sir.
By the way, I think this is the first time I've ever spun a wheel like this. After all those years of watching Prices Right, this is the first time I've ever done this. So I'm very excited about this. And we're going to go for best case scenario with the Brian Spicy Pizza. Here we go.
Wheel has been spun. And it is going to be the blue. The one that would technically be the zoo win if I was confident that we had that. You would be going to the zoo to deal with your hippo or rhino friends. You lucked out. All right, give me a good one. Let's get a good spin. A lot of pressure here. Are we gonna? Preston runs the board. Preston needs to spend a morning in the studio with Jen. Jen gets to come in here with me. So Jen will one morning will give Preston maybe Thursday. Does that seem? Let's see. What have we got? I'll have to go back and analyze what all we've got going on this week. But we'll sit down and we'll come up with a day. Preston will do an internship for an hour, and then Jen will get to come in here and prop up her feet and hang out. And Preston will have to run the board.
Professional development. Here we go.
We will see if the show will continue after that. So, all right, so good. So, not only have you spun the wheel, how is the spinning? How do you feel?
It's the first time I've ever done it. I feel excited about it. I've only done it. Remember the game Life? The board game. That's the only one. So this is my second time spinning a wheel like this.
All right. Preston is now truly a part of.
I feel like I've avoided the worst for that one. I feel like I made it out. Thanks for my
It's good.
Vegas Vipers and
It's a good start.
Seattle Sea Dragons.
It's a good start for you. So we have officially spun the wheel of agony. It is back. Preston will run the board this week. Jen will come in here and get to hang out, have donuts, and enjoy her morning. Not yell at the. So you can call in one morning. Preston will have to answer the phones and run the board. Well, yeah, that should be quite entertaining. Look forward to that. Big thank you to JC Sherbert. If you missed Preston Thorns, Buds, and Roses, you can go to Jen's Twitter account at Jen Jensen Morse and hear that. You did a good job on that one today.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Biggest improvement from week 1 to week 2. We're getting better and better.
Want to see improvement from week 2 to week 3. We'll continue on. We will be back Wednesday morning tomorrow with you. We look forward to it. Y'all have a great rest of the day.
I was really hoping you would get bar 3.
See, bar 3 when I've done bar 3.
Well, then you need to come to my yoga classes at Studio Fire.
There you go. Y'all want to say goodbye, everybody?
It's very legit.
Yeah, we'll see you guys.
But what do other people say about Navage? Like Josh, quote,
Oh, I didn't
after
we hit
walking
that.
around my whole life being a mouth breather, I was excited.
I didn't think we were going to do that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right, now we're up and running. Jen's out there.
Yeah, we do even yachts and then we do like.
I'm kind of getting moved.
Say goodbye to Preston and Kendall. Kendall waving, Preston waving. Y'all have a great rest of the day.
See you guys.